Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going. It's been a very busy week so far. And boy, not only that, but I've been dealing with a little bit of insomnia, which has not been very fun for the last few days. It's fun to stay up late sometimes, but then sometimes you actually want to sleep, and the rest of you doesn't. And well, I don't know. Anyone who's ever had to deal with actual like clinical insomnia, it's not the best sometimes. But hey, I'm here for the night owl. We're gonna have a little fun talking about all the news and everything. I'm glad to be here hanging out with you, Price, and hanging out with all of our wonderful friends in the chat. So.
And we're happy to have you here and the people in the chat. What I will say is we'll talk about some just everyday, a little bit of politics to the beginning like we usually do. But I just want to let people know that I've seen an early screening of that movie with Sydney Sweeney that she's a boxer, and
Woohoo!
it hasn't officially come out yet. So I'm going to be talking about that, and people are talking if people think that she could be nominated for an Academy Award or things like that. So we're going to discuss all of that.
Oh,
There's also some stuff with Disney going on that they spent $250 million on the complete failure that's Doctor Who, and
oh
now they've jumped
yes,
ship and run away after
yes.
later. It turns out that they're firing all these employees. Like, yeah, they can't pay the people at the parks, they can't play, and the people that they end up stiffing are just like everyday people. Meanwhile, they're taking $250 million and dumping it on some piece of crap nobody cares about. Then they don't have money to pay their employees. It's just, I don't know, that there's something that feels a bit off about that. How could you spend so many billions on nonsense and then not actually pay the people that are just there to try to make an honest living?
Yeah, this is bizarre.
But
Just bizarre. Yeah.
we'll get to all of those things. Disney losing money, which everybody always enjoys.
Imagine that, Disney losing money, that
Disney lo-
is
Disney losing money and Sydney Sweeney possibly winning awards.
yeah,
We'll get to that.
in a beautiful busty boxer picture, yes.
I saw that. I want to talk to you about how I felt about that boxer look, but first of all, let's start off with Trump. I mean, honestly, even when I say, "Oh, we'll talk about this," he then gets on a plane, says a bunch of other stuff. I saw him talking. Did you see something that said that he wanted to get rid of Elon Omar? I think that was today. It already, like, all the days and nights
I
are combining. I feel
I
like he
think
was.
he's said several times about wanting to get rid of her, for one reason or another. Uh, I'm not sure what the comment was this time, but I we can go
I think
find
he was
something
on
from
Air
today.
Force One, and he's like, "Yeah, we got to get rid of her." Here, I have it. I found it. Are you ready?
Sure, sure.
This is just a little anecdote for the view. I know that he's thinking this.
Yep.
Let's see.
Can't it's not shared, it's not presentation mode, so we
Oh, it's
can't
not
see it.
shared. Okay, wait,
Yep,
wait 1 second. Only the best technology here at the Night Owl. Here, you see
indeed.
it, and
I think she's terrible. Is she originally from Somalia? So, so how are they doing this? How's their government? Do they have a president? Do they have a council? Do they have anything? Do they have police? I love these people that come from a place with nothing, no anything, and then they tell us how to run our country. No, I think if she got censured, that's great. If she got impeached, that's even better. They impeached me twice for nothing. And they impeached me knowing the Republicans are on my side, so they knew it was just, but they impeached me twice. She should be impeached, and it should happen fast. I think she should be impeached.
so that was one thing. That was just, I was before I was going live. I suddenly saw that. So the truth is, I think that if there's records that show that she married her brother, all those things that were being talked about, and if there's stuff like that, they'd actually have something to work with. I mean, how have they not been able to prove until today? I know this sounds weird, but if she married her brother or not.
Oh, I actually looked into that whole thing some time ago. It's bizarre.
It's
It's
a rabbit
so
hole.
weird. It's essentially like there was their family are refugees like 4 times over. Right? So,
Okay.
like, they fled one country into another country, and then they fled that country into another country, and then they, like, were repatriated to somewhere, I don't know, it's weird. So,
Sounds like a
uh
scheme.
yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah, so, essentially, like, they're family members, and then they went to different countries and different places, and then they changed names when they were in different countries. So if you just look at the name, you come and look at it and you're like, oh well, their names aren't the same, so they're not related, except that they were changing their names, to different Muslim root names in different places. And so there's some pretty good evidence that, yeah, he was at least her half brother, at
I
least.
I believe it because I'll tell you why. Within their religion, a woman that keeps getting divorced and married and divorced and married, that's considered, I don't even want to say frowned upon. That's considered a big no-no. Yet I never hear anybody saying from that direction anything bad. So I have to wonder if perhaps the reason why we don't hear something bad is because there's something else going on. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a bunch of other anecdotal evidence coming from, around her and that strange marriage, because she was married to another guy for a number of years, and then suddenly, like, their marriage was just sort of disappeared, and then she married this other guy, except that there's a lot of evidence from people in the community that were never actually, like, cohabitating together, like they didn't. She was still living with the guy who was her ex-husband, but yet
It's
married to this other guy. It's
It's
so,
so
so
bizarre,
strange. Yes.
and again, like, I'm not saying that this would even be, acceptable in any other religion, but specifically in that religion, a woman that every 5 minutes is, like, married and divorced, now she's marrying another guy, now she's here, now she's there, that is considered, like, not allowed in supposedly where she comes from, so that's the part that's just strange to me, unless there was another reason, and that's really, what I'm thinking to myself. But it doesn't matter. Trump wasn't talking about that, although he's talked about it before on plenty of occasions. It's just this time he was talking about the fact that she came to this country and all she wants to do is say how much she hates it here. It is kind of strange. I mean, theoretically, you can run for Congress, and I guess you're allowed to walk around and say that you don't like the country. It's just kind of, there's something about it that feels crappy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah, that you came here as a refugee from another country, and yet you're gonna spend your time hating on the country. It's such an odd thing. But of course, that's what they do. They're angry and hate the country that they're in because it is not a Muslim majority country yet.
I agree with you as to Phobos. There is certain situations where,
Yes.
in certain faiths and certain religions, or certain, I'm not saying that everybody from every religion or whatever does it, but I'm saying there are certain people that believe that, like you said, for the greater good, they can lie and it's fine. I mean, there are
Yes.
some
Yeah.
cultures that do that. There are some cultures
Yes.
that do that. For
That.
example, if you go to China, a lot of times they lie to each other, but it's not looked upon the same way as it looks in American culture. Sometimes in their culture, they're expected in certain situations to lie. It's just
Mhm.
sometimes people and places are different, cultures are different. In this case, though, with her specifically, this feels like less of an above board type of situation. But that's just my personal feeling on it.
Yeah, and Estefobos is right. There is a taquilla, or I like to call it taquitos. The Muslims can use the taquitos to essentially they're allowed to lie about their faith. They're allowed to break laws. They're allowed to do any number of different things, even up to denying their beliefs, so that they can infiltrate other societies to further
Here
the
at the Night
spread of
Owl,
of
I just
Islam.
want to say that it doesn't mean that every single person does this, but
No, it
let's
doesn't.
just
It doesn't.
let's
There
say
are.
there are people that believe that. Let's I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
that sounds like a good disclaimer, I think.
Yeah. There are genuinely, there are moderate Muslims who
I'm sure there
follow
are.
different clerics that have different ideas. That is one of the issues actually that you have. One of the biggest issues that you have with Islam is that essentially there are many different versions, different translations of the Quran. Like, depending on who you're talking to and what imam you're listening to, they can tell you one thing or they can tell you another. Oh, well, no, this verse, abrogates that verse, or this one is the one that you should listen to, not that one. And it's very, very strange. I've actually studied this. I took a class some time ago, where learning a lot about this. It's very, very bizarre. And it looks like we got a Nick Weiser raid. Must be
Oh, nice.
pouring in from Toxic Tuesday. Cool. We
Awesome.
appreciate it.
Nick's a good
Yeah.
guy. I feel like I haven't hung out with Nick in a while, and that's unfortunate because Nick's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's
It's
a
great to
friend
see
of
everybody.
mine, and I have to find a way. I don't know. He didn't. He. I don't want to say he didn't invite me to Klobby's comic shop, but uh, he did at some point. But I feel like we said that I would be there again, and I haven't seen him in a while. And I do hope I get to stream with him. Somehow our schedules haven't been in sync, but hopefully at some point they will be. And yeah, Nick's a great guy if you're not aware of him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did we get to all of this?
I don't know. We're going on all over the place, but we were really talking. We started talking about Ilhan Omar and the bizarre behavior that we've seen from her. Coming in and potentially being married to a brother or half brother or something like that, and then
Somebody's
just all
brother,
of
yeah.
her hate America and nonsense. And yeah, I mean, I honestly, I actually think that there's some interesting. You might have seen recently. There's a bill that they've been trying to push through the House and Senate that would prevent people from having dual citizenship while they are while they are in office. Not that that's going to stop someone like Ilhan Omar from serving in office. They can always, lose their citizenship in
Yeah,
another
yeah, it's not
country,
doesn't really
but
matter that much.
it would ensure that there would be people that would not have a split allegiance, at least during their time that they are serving in the House or the Senate or any other certain parts of government. But it's an interesting idea. uh, I unless there's some very hard evidence somewhere that somebody has not brought forward, I don't think that they're actually going to be able to denaturalize or deport Ilhan Omar, to remove her from office. And quite seriously, I don't think there's any chance of her losing her seat, because of the people who are in her district, in her area, in that state. I think her seat is pretty solidly going to be hers.
Which in and of itself, like, sometimes is a bit worrying how her seat is so secure. When it comes to doing something to remove her, I think that if there was anything that they could have done, I assume they would have done it. I don't know if now at this point anybody could do anything. There are definitely some questions regarding some things, but
They're removing a sitting House member or senator from their seat is pretty serious. You
pretty
have
serious and
to,
unprecedented.
yeah,
Even
you really have to have some very, very hard evidence to show that they have broken certain rules. They've committed certain crimes to be able to remove them. Some people Istofa said immigration fraud. It's possible, but they've got to be able to prove that, like, really prove it. Like, here is all of this proof to show that this happened. Because if they can't, then it's going to simply be seen as some sort of attempt on the Republican side to remove a sitting senator. It's got to be beyond a shadow of a doubt. Look, here it is. This person committed fraud. This person committed a crime. They must be removed. And even then, a lot of times, depending on what that crime is, the House, the Senate, they will choose to censure somebody rather than actually remove them from their seat. So yes, I think it would be wonderful. I think she's a terrible person. I think she's a terrible member of our, you know, legislature, but I think she is pretty solidly in that seat. It's going to have to, uh, there's going to have to be something pretty serious and pretty, you know, ironclad that's going to
Yeah,
have to
I
happen.
understand. It's not they wouldn't just do this lightly. It would have to be something very serious. By the way, speaking of deporting people or whatever it is, I keep reading that Trump is looking for some kind of Department of Homeland Security shakeup. Did you see anything like that in recent days? I keep
I
reading that
might
he
have
wants.
heard a little something about it. Unfortunately, my last few days have been absolute chaos. Both at home and at work. We've had visitors. We've had then at work. We had a little leak that ran all weekend long and ruined my office and
Ruined
only
your
my
office?
office.
Did
not
it
not
ruin?
at not at home at my workplace.
Oh, okay. Well,
It
that's
it
a bit
it
better.
it dripped in from the ceiling and ruined my office, and so
I
I've
see.
been going through all sorts of craziness trying to, get that cleaned up, and then, they decided that I was going to move to a different office in the building, and so we've been handling all of that. It's been absolutely crazy, so I really haven't spent a lot of time, with the news the last couple days, so,
Well,
if
there's
it didn't
something.
if it didn't pop up as a headline on, on one or more of the sources that I see, I
No, no, this
probably
is
hadn't
something
read about it.
that I actually saw coming up, that there was a ICE leadership shakeup exposes. You see
Oh,
this? I
alright.
was sharing at it. Um, Growing DHS friction over deportation tactics. I guess there's some people in the leadership and key roles in ICE that they're unhappy with them because not doing the job supposedly that they're being asked to. So I guess now there's at least 12 people that are on their way out that are going to be. And that's what I was reading.
Hmm,
I guess
okay.
this is also that they want a more aggressive approach in deportations and things like that, and they feel that these people that were there were sort of an obstacle. They weren't doing what they were asked or things like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, that's entirely possible. They may have some people there who weren't, completely on board with some of the more aggressive tactics that, Holman and some of the other, members of, members of Trump's cabinet were really looking for, Pam Bondi and some of the others. So it's entirely possible that, yeah, there were some people there who, may have been long serving people, whatever, but had, different ideas than what Trump had, and they decided they needed to shake things up and move out some of those people so that they could, do things a little bit more aggressively than what they had been doing so far. That makes sense, and that kind of thing happens. Happens a lot, not just in this administration, but in lots of administrations.
This is also something that popped up, that Mamdani faces criminal referrals to Department of Justice over alleged illegal campaign donations from foreigners. This is kind of new.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all. I would not be surprised by anyone in the socialist wing of the Democrat Party receiving donations from
Yeah,
illegal
I mean, it
foreigners.
surprised me. And
Quite honestly.
when you think about it, it reminds me also, how in AOC, they tried to present it like a grassroots thing. She, like, got elected out of the trunk of her car after, like, pouring drinks at a bar or something. But then, you find out that there was a lot more to it than that. And one has to wonder, this is just my personal opinion. I don't have any, I don't necessarily have the evidence that they're looking for to support this. Just my personal opinion. This Mamdani guy seemed to have come out of nowhere. A guy that has never really worked anywhere, done anything, and had no qualification to do anything. He was barely a citizen for I don't know how many years, barely lived in New York, somehow seemed to be pushed from every direction. And one has to wonder, where did the money come from? How did all of this happen? And if it turned out that there were some people putting some money behind him, uh, that wouldn't surprise me.
Not at all.
I
Not
mean,
at
you
all.
want to think that it's kind of organic that he popped up, but man, I don't know. But what I will say is, can you hear me, Professor?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, suddenly the screen flashed for a second. So
Yeah, you you're
what I will
you were roboting a little bit there. I think you might have had an internet glitch there.
Oh, okay, but
Yeah, you're
hopefully
fine.
now I'm
You're good
back.
now. You're good now.
So basically, this guy, uh, yeah, the one thing that disappoints me is neither the Republicans or even his fellow Democrats, they all completely mishandled this. They put guys that are in their 70s, that all either have issues or not people that you could really get behind that are really going to win. Cuomo has too many issues. Doesn't matter if you like him, you don't like him. He has too many issues. His time is already gone. It doesn't even matter if you like him or not. I don't think that he was the right candidate. Eric Adams had too many problems. He ended up quitting. Then you had Sliwa for the Republicans. And he also, I feel like he's a guy that's been around for a long time and probably not like the fresh face that was needed. They really needed, if they wanted this guy to not be the guy that wins, which it looks like that's what's going to happen, they needed somebody that was younger and more kind of dynamic, understands social media. It's not even that this Mamdani is so great. It's the fact that he's just walking around, he's smiling, he's answering questions, he seems younger, and most people just don't take the time to do any research. They see a guy wearing a suit, he's smiling, they're just like, well, whatever. It's probably fine. People are, in my opinion, kind of dumb. This looks like the last guy that should be elected to be the mayor of New York. It's really, really sad that out of all places, New York would elect this person, but that's what it's looking like. And I don't know if this DOJ referral, if all of this is going to lead to anything, but what do you think?
Yeah, these things can always be really difficult to actually prove, unfortunately. But it all depends. I mean, if they've got the receipts, if they can show that this happened, yeah, go for it. Um, Mamdani is an absolute joke of a candidate. He is going to be a joke of a mayor. He's going to destroy that city. It's unbelievable, right? I think the people of New York would be better off with Kingpin running things from than having Mamdani in there. It's going to be absolutely terrifying, and I feel for the people of New York, because yeah, there's a lot of foreigners who are coming in. They're all voting for him. If you actually look at all the numbers, if you look at all of the actual people whose votes are actually trending his way, it's not native New Yorkers. It's a lot of people who are foreign born, who are living in New York, that are shifting their votes his way. So yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. Yeah.
Totally. So basically, the dead man, he sent a 4.99 super chat, and he wrote, "Sorry for pushing my channel one last time. I realize it's not cool. It's very cool, man. The dead
No,
man
dead
has a great
man. Come
the
on,
dead
man.
man has a great channel. If you're not subscribed, you should go check it out. The dead man has been a great supporter of this channel, and anything we can do to help the dead man out, we're always happy. He has great takes when he hangs out with us, and we're always happy to see him. And you should never apologize for sending a super chat because we always appreciate those."
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good, dead man. You're a big supporter of this channel, and we don't mind helping spread the word of the dead man's channel and the content that you've got over there for people. So no worries whatsoever. We appreciate your support here, and everything that you do for and with our channel. So yeah, you're good. You're good. No worries.
And when it comes to Zoran Mamdani, I just it's so sad that New York, that after everything that happened in New York, when it comes to also 9/11, uh, and even the first World Trade Center bombing, uh, that this guy that's later hanging out with people that were involved in that, and then everybody's kind of just looking the other way and they want to vote for him. It's a strange situation. It feels to me very. I know it's not exactly the same, but there's a part of me that feels like this is another situation like Obama, that everybody felt like this was the pat yourself on the back, see I'm open-minded, virtue signaling type of thing.
Oh,
And sometimes
absolutely.
sometimes you don't need that. You know what I mean? People are like, "No, he's a good guy. See, I'm a good guy. I'm not like a bad guy like the Orange Man. Look, I'm going to vote for this guy." It almost feels. I know this is terrible. I feel bad for saying it. It feels like the Tylenol thing. Like, oh, let's see, this is a good guy. We'll vote for him. And man, he doesn't seem that good to me. Uh, the truth is, he's kind of a flip flopper, so you don't really know what he's about. But based on his background and what he said and did prior to him ever really entering the public eye in this way, and like in politics, he's always been pretty consistent about his views. And I don't really see how that kind of mentality really applies to a city like New York. City like New York, you need a business minded individual running it, not a guy that's never really done anything. And yeah, kind of a shame, but nothing really we can do, I guess.
Absolutely. Yeah, he is. It was pointed out by the other candidates too. During debates, during other appearances in front of the media. Yeah, that Zoran Mondani has absolutely no resume to run on at all.
Nothing.
He has never done anything for himself. He's never been an executive in any role. He's never, uh, you know, he has served. I believe he's in the state legislature in New York.
I
Is that
guess,
it?
yeah, I don't know. I guess.
But he's shown up for votes less than 60% of the time.
This
He's
guy is
he's
like a failed
never proposed any legislation that's actually, moved forward, never even really co-sponsored anything that's been,
he's
a
like
valuable bill. He's kind of a joke,
he is.
really.
He's like the Big Lebowski if the Big Lebowski was a communist, and he's a failed rapper. And this is all very weird. This doesn't seem like the guy that you're supposed to elect. And even I didn't watch it, but I heard that he was like on Jon Stewart, and you even have like Jon Stewart and all these people all like kissing his ass. Why are you kissing this guy's ass? Like I don't know. Uh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
because
I understand.
he's young and he knows how to talk to the people and whatever. Yeah, let's see how far that gets you when he tries taking the seizing property in New York City to hand it over to the workers and tries uh, launching city-owned, government-owned grocery stores to sell goods cheaper than other grocery stores will happen. Then what happens to all those other grocery stores? Well, one of two things happen. Either those grocery stores go out of business or the grocery stores go and they go to those government-owned grocery stores to buy those discount products and then put them in their own stores and sell them for actual real prices. And so those shelves in those government-owned stores go bare almost instantly, and they stay that way because you can't it just doesn't work. It's kind of funny, they've had one. There was a story not long ago about a store like this, a city-owned grocery store in Kansas City, and I believe Kansas City, Missouri, where they set up this whole thing, and there was this whole group that ran it, and they were going to have all of this funding coming from the city, and all this funding coming from these NGOs and stuff that were going to help to run this place. And they launched to all this amazing. Everybody thought this was going to be the best thing ever, and it's going to make sure that this poor area of town is serviced by this grocery store or whatever. And it lasted for about 2 weeks before practically the whole store had bare shelves because did goods are being sold below market value. So people come in, they buy them, they go somewhere else and sell them at market value. The company that's running it, the organization that's running it is running on hardly any money at all, and so they come in and they can only manage to keep the shelves so stocked, and they can only manage to hire so many people. They don't have security guards, so even in this discount, city-owned, government-owned store, people are walking in the door and just stealing stuff and walking out. It's it doesn't work. It's been tried over and over and over again. It is I here's my hope, Price. Zoran Mamdani pretty
Okay.
much has this locked up, right? My hope
Yeah.
is that this guy fails spectacularly. He fails in a way that cannot be ignored. We see all of this socialist BS tried and played out in front of the American people in the media and on social media where everyone can see it. And then, you know, we get to have uh we get to actually see this sort of collapse in real time, because I think a lot of people say, "Oh, well, we have socialism. It's been tried all these times, but it's never been done right." Well, we can watch it one more time in our modern day, in front of everyone, in front of TikTok and X and Instagram and all these things, just collapse horribly. And so everyone can see exactly what socialism really looks like. That's what I think would be the best possible outcome from this guy's tenure as mayor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hope that that's how it'll turn out. We don't really know, but we'll see how it plays out. And yeah, it's kind of depressing, but there's not really a lot we can do. They'll make their bed and they'll sleep in it, and hopefully somebody will learn some kind of lesson from it. But never underestimate how people can be stupid. And I remember this again. I dare say that at least Obama, you could say that he did have something that he did. I mean, I still think that Obama was more qualified than this guy. Uh, eh, Obama, when he ran, I also thought that there was like a kind of over enthusiasm about him, that everybody felt like they needed to say how enthusiastic they were about him. And as somebody that at the time lived in New York, I can tell you that this happened over and over again. And I told you this once, that there was an old friend of mine that I, knew from school, like I known him many years, and he invited me to be a member of Obama's fan club. Now, I didn't really know a whole lot. I just wasn't enthusiastic. Just my instinct told me that I'm not enthusiastic. And when he told me that, and I kind of dismissed it, and had a few things to say, and like I don't know, I kind of said a few things about it. I noticed it didn't happen in 1 second, but I noticed that not a long time after that, he unfollowed me like on Facebook. And that was a very early case that I saw people behaving strangely. You know, putting an old friend behind some stupid political thing.
Yeah,
Like it's more
yeah.
important to be a member of like Obama's fan club than a guy that you knew for I don't know how many years, to be nice to him. I don't. It just seemed very weird to me, and it was almost like a foreshadowing of things to come. So many things I've noticed before they actually became a bigger thing, and it's always there. If you think about it, it's always there. Just this
Mhm.
week I was talking about movies and stuff, and how there were certain things that were sort of woke before woke became a thing. I'm trying to think, what was it? There were a few things that came up. One, yeah, I mean, Mad Max Fury Road. I think a lot of people have noticed that one. Uh, that one is one that, like, came early, but there was something else that happened. I can't remember what it was, that it was, like, an early version. If you start looking at, like, 2014, 15, 16, 17, you'll see more and more stuff where they wanted to make the male hero look stupid, but you didn't really pick up on it when it happened.
Yeah.
But now if you look at it, you'll see that it was a growing pattern. It didn't just start overnight.
Oh, no. No, no, no. It was very, very gradual. Yeah. They would sneak in here and there. these heroes, these supposed heroes anyway, these characters that were like, oh well, look, oh, it's just so funny that the male lead is constantly humiliated by the women in the story, right? Ha 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 ha
Oh, I
ha.
know. I know. I was thinking about that. There were a few things that happened. There was the show Mad Men. Do you remember the show Mad Men
Sure.
with Don
Didn't
Draper?
didn't I didn't actually finish that show. I need to go back and watch it again.
No,
It was
don't
really good.
finish it. Don't
Really?
finish it. Trust me. Leave it alone. And this is exactly what I was telling somebody this week. Let's see if I can find uh, something to pull up. Where was it? I'm going to find. Yes, here it is. So I just like to have a graphic while we're talking about it if we're already going to do that, and then I will share it. So basically, Mad Men. That was a really nice show. It's for those who didn't watch it, it was about like I thought it was the late 50s and then 60s, but fine, the 60s
Yeah.
in New York. There's like this guy. He's a very successful executive at a advertising company. As men of the time possibly were, he would sit around at the office, drink a lot. He's a womanizer. He closes deals. He closes business deals. And I'm not saying that men necessarily strive to be Don Draper, but it is entertaining to watch a period piece type of show with a character like that. And there was also this feeling that you kind of enjoyed watching him maneuver the deals around. You like seeing like the period piece. You kind of even enjoy him sitting in the office with the whiskey and his friends. I'm not saying you're going to do that in your office, but there was something fun about watching it. Part of the
Yeah.
I don't know what word I'm looking for, if it's nostalgia or whatever you want to call it, but there's something fun about it. And that's what made people enjoy the show. Now, what happened is that somewhere around the fifth season, which was already like in 2014 or 2015, they decided that they don't want him to be like this kind of on top of his game executive guy. They did the whole deconstruction thing, sort of like a Last Jedi situation. In the final two seasons, this man is the biggest bum. Everything is not going right for him. He can't close the deals. The ladies all like think he's lame. And I just watched it and I'm thinking to myself, what have they done to the show? And I remember watching it at the time and I couldn't understand why they were doing it. But today, I do understand why they did it.
Mhm.
So if you didn't watch the final few seasons, you're in luck. Don't watch them unless you want to see
Don't bother. See
if
him
you want to
humiliated. Yeah.
if you want to see Don Draper like going through like a Last Jedi Luke Skywalker bum situation, go ahead and watch those last few seasons. I think that if you stop after like 5 seasons, you can leave this show in a way that like is still respectable, in my opinion. So just letting you know that. And it's such a shame because initially it really was a good show. I mean, I would have given it a really good grade but because of that, it can't. It's the same thing like with Game of Thrones. I can't take a show that falls off a cliff and still say it's one of the greatest shows. If you can't deliver the whole show, it's not one of the greatest shows. Another one, which maybe you were familiar with, did you ever watch *Halt and Catch Fire*?
Actually never saw that one. I heard good reviews for like the first season, and then middling reviews for the second season, and then after that, like I heard like just don't bother. So
I mean,
I've never actually come back to watch it.
This is another case where it was a great idea. You see, like some computer sort of early high tech computer people, sort of parallel stories that are really like a nod to these type of Apple Compaq, CompuServe, all these early things like technology and computers and things like that. Through sort of people, they're fictional people, but the stories are really very much inspired by things that happened in reality. And the main guy here, his name is Joe McMillan. That's like the main guy. They, instead of having a guy that's like on top of his game, it almost starts like you think he is that guy, that he's like good at putting together deals and doing all that stuff. They also he discovers that he's like fond of dudes. Do you know
Mm,
what I mean?
yeah.
For no apparent reason. They're just like, can't have him look too good. Let's try to. There's nothing wrong with him. Okay. I'm gonna get in trouble here. There's nothing wrong with him being fond of dudes. It just didn't suit. It felt like a shitty thing that they were trying to like shove in there. Like they didn't want him to be like the cool, like successful whatever guy. So they like unloaded that thing on him. It's not that you can't do that. I just didn't like it for that character. Say what you want. That's how I felt.
Hmm.
And not only that, all the women around him are like, constantly like outshining him and he's like an idiot. I couldn't stand what they were doing with him. It was a character that was like easy to just make him awesome, like the Don Draper of this world, but they didn't even let him do that. And when it came to the writing, it was kind of uneven. Still not the worst show I've seen, because if you like technology and computers and stuff like that, there's still something to enjoy there. But yeah, I don't know why they had like all the women bark at him, and then that he's suddenly fond of dudes. Very very strange situation.
Hmm.
Not that there's anything
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Not
Professor,
that
are you
there's
still
anything
there? I feel
wrong
like
with
the
that.
professor has run away.
No, no, no.
Wants
I'm
nothing
here.
to do with
I'm
this
here.
conversation. Listen, I don't care what people do. He could be fond of dudes. I should highlight another thing. When the show started, he seemed to be fond of women, but then he suddenly wasn't.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Isn't that strange?
He swings both ways. I don't know.
I guess that's what they were going for. Yes. In any case, I could have done without all of that. And also, the whole time they had these ladies that are always trying to show them that they're better and whatever. I don't know. The show just wasn't as good as it could have been. It had a whole lot more potential. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that in those years, that was like the pre woke. Right before woke, they started doing all that stuff. Now, when I was watching it at the time, I didn't really think about it. I didn't really think to myself, oh, this is like a woke thing. I just said, okay, well, that's just what they wrote. I didn't look at the sinister agenda peddling that was going on behind the scenes. I just thought to myself, oh, okay, well, now I guess, yeah, like he is fond of dudes. Which again, there's nothing wrong with that.
Mhm.
I'm never going to get out of this, Professor. What did you want to talk about?
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. What else? You do have your review of Sydney Sweeney. We can save that for a little bit. We
Anyman
had last
says,
on our list. We had Doctor Who.
by the way, Anyman says my favorite character in The Wire was a gay man. No sign of any woke though. Yeah, that was Omar. That was a good show. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
not,
you know what? See, that's the thing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having a character who is homosexual. It's all about how the character is written. It's about how they treat the character. All of these, for lack of any better term, woke shows, these people are always above reproach, right? They're the best people. And their sexual identity is like written in as the most important thing about them, and it's the thing that makes them special. And everyone around them supports and loves and treats them, except for the people who are the terrible people, right? It's just all about how you include this. The truth is, there's been homosexual characters in our media for ages, and for the most part, a lot of people didn't care. It's like, okay, oh, look, that character, they're gay. Okay, fine.
because
Eh,
nobody was shining a light on it and making such a big deal of everything. And it's like what you were saying. See, this is the part in the woke era that people don't understand, that when they started this isn't Halt and Catch Fire, that's a different situation. But I'm saying these days or in recent years, if there's a character that, let's say, they put him there because they want it to be diverse or he's diverse and gay, they do a bunch of things so that you'll never think anything negative about that character. The character can never do anything wrong. He can never say anything bad. He can have no flaws. Everything that character does is perfect. And meanwhile, all
Absolutely.
the characters, if there's like a straight white male next to him, that character is like automatically like the villain. You already know that is like he's gonna be the guy that steals from everybody. He's the villain. I don't know. It's like if you watch Law and Order, I don't know if you noticed this. If you watch Law and Order and they interrogate like, 5 suspects and one of them is a white guy, there's a good chance that that guy is going to be the guy.
Oh, absolutely. It's you know it. You're like
You know
that
it.
that's you watch media today and you're like, "Oh, look, there's out of all of these characters, one of them is white. I wonder who's going to be the traitor, or I wonder who's going to end up being the villain." Or yeah, it's cuz it's always the way it is now, right? It's not even amusing anymore. It's not funny. It's just like this is how it is every single time. You're going to see a white man, they're the bad guy every single time.
It
And
it
it's just pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic.
reminds me of this movie Wish that Disney made, that I happened to watch because I reviewed it, and it was such a comedic, situation for me because I sat there and the girl who's, like, the main, Disney princess, whatever you wanna call her, she sort of looks seemingly diverse, and she's supposed to go work for this king who's played by Chris Pine, and he seems white, and she's going to work for him. Now, everybody thinks this king is like the most generous and nice person in the world, and she's going to work for him. And I said to myself, probably she'll go to work for him, and it'll turn out that he's the worst person that ever lived. And then, like, she goes and works for him, and guess what happens? Like, within like an hour of her working for him,
Mhm.
he's the villain. He's like the big villain, and he's like a lying snake. He's like the worst. And then there's another part in the movie where there's like 7 children or 5 children or something that are her friends, and one of them is like a rat. He rats on her to the king so that he can find her even though she's in hiding or something like that. So they look at the kids, they're like, somebody here like ratted her out, and then they look at the kids and there's like one Asian girl, one like Latina, one this, one that, one this, one that, and there's one white kid. And who do you think is the rat? Who do you think ratted her out?
Totally gotta be the
The Asian girl.
bisexual, brown skin, disabled
The white guy, the
female
white guy,
character.
the
Oh,
white guy.
no. Oh, how could I possibly have guessed it was gonna be the white
And I
character?
knew it. I knew that that's what was going to happen. I knew 100% that that kid was going to be like the bad guy, and he 100% was. And then the final part of the movie is that, and I'll just say that, and I don't know how we got into this movie. I just have to quickly tell you there's a part where the king is sort of becoming more and more powerful, and there's all these like diverse people standing. And I thought to myself, it popped into my mind, like, probably if they want to go all in, he's going to put all these people, he's going to do like a spell and like put them all in chains. And I swear to you, like, maybe a minute after I thought it, that's what happens. My mind, whatever I think is like the parody, that is what becomes like reality. He puts them all in chains and things like that. Uh, I don't know if I've ever seen like a more woke type of Disney, and it was for like 50th anniversary or whatever it was. And then the funniest thing, and I'll just tell you, at the end, the queen that he was married to, she decides to help like the people against him because she realizes what a bad person he is. And then I think that the movie ends where the queen, they tell her that she can be the king now, and then she locks the king up in the dungeon, and the movie ends with this like white king in the dungeon locked up because he's like a jerk, and then the movie ends.
Mhm.
And I'm not even making it up. That's just what it is. It's just a strange situation. The one thing, I probably told you this before, I wanted to review it. And I have like one of those kind of monthly passes. So I went and I saw this in the theater. There weren't a ton. This thing flopped in the theater. There weren't a ton of people, but
Oh, this was an absolute disaster. This was supposed to be their big, like, celebration of 100 years of Disney animation, and it was completely ignored in the
it was
theaters.
awful. It was just an awful
Nobody
movie.
cared.
No,
Nobody cared.
I initially thought that I was kind of by myself in the theater. Maybe I noticed there were a few people, but there were the part before the chains that he was standing like high above with the spells, and I thought he was going to put them all in chains, and then like he did it. I burst out laughing, like it was like a huge like cackle type of laugh in the theater. And then I looked, and there was like a mother with her daughter, and they were looking
Yeah.
and they were looking at me, and I said to myself, like, nobody would ever understand this moment. Like I couldn't really explain this to anybody, and certainly I thought they probably thought to themselves, What's a grown man doing sitting in this theater watching watching this movie and cackling at a part that he's putting them in chains, and I'm cackling because I thought that that's what was going to happen. It was such a surreal situation. I couldn't even if I try to explain it to you, I can't fully give you the feeling like you were there. I tried my best though.
Yep.
Hey, the dead
Well,
man. I saw your message. Oh, in any case, yeah. So speaking of movies, Sydney Sweeney has a new movie, and she's a boxer. Did you hear about this?
I did. Yeah, I had heard that this was coming. I had not. I've actually. I think I saw the trailer for it, and I was actually fairly impressed by the trailer. But I'm not really sure I know that much about the background of it or what the full story is supposed to be.
Okay, so basically, first of all, I want to tell everybody that's listening here. I saw an early screening of this. It's not out yet, but I've already seen it. So I can give you like a sneak peek, review of it. I won't ruin it, even though it's about a true story. So, there's not a whole lot to ruin. And it's also not like something super complicated, but I won't give like some key points in the movie, especially in the third act. I won't talk about them. So if somebody goes to watch it, they can still, you know, see it. If you watch like the trailer to this movie, there's nothing that I'm going to say that's going to be a shock at all. But basically, this movie stars Sydney Sweeney, and I can tell that Sydney Sweeney wanted to take a role that would be, kind of Oscar bait or whatever you want to call it. Usually, what actresses that look nice do if they want to win an Oscar, they choose a role that maybe doesn't highlight their looks so much and maybe makes them look bad, gives them a chance to really do some acting. In this case, there's also like some boxing, so I think she had to get into shape and do all this other stuff. And in this role also, there's something. This is, I guess, something in real life. This female boxer, she was like one of the first, if not the first of her kind, to be like a female boxer on pay per view. This kind of champion, that for a number of years was like at the top of her game, and she sort of opened the door to having even women in boxing and things like that. And what the movie shows, and this is based on her real life, is like she, I guess, growing up or whenever it was, she came to the conclusion that she's more fond of women than she is of men. But because she came from a more sort of like traditional family, living kind of in a rural area, her father's a coal miner, they didn't really welcome that. So she kind of couldn't really act upon that. At the same time, she played professionally, basketball professionally at some college, and I think that just to make a few $100s, she went to some kind of local fight where she could fight another woman or something, and she won. And then she did that a few times, and suddenly a promoter came along and said, "Hey, you're really good. You should, do this professionally." And they connected her with this boxing coach called Jim Martin. And somehow, what happened was, is this Jim Martin guy who was, older than her, noticeably older than her. He ended up being her trainer, but also marrying her. Now, in this movie, they show kind of her rise to being a successful boxer, but it also turns out that over time, this husband is kind of abusive and things like that. And in the final act, this kind of comes to a type of collision. Won't ruin anything. Won't say anything. At the end of the day, this movie, uh, on one hand, it is sort of like a sports movie, but because it's a more of a biopic, I guess it has to stay truer to actual events that happened. So it can't be like Rocky. Rocky, it was inspired by actual events, like from a fighter that managed to last with Ali or whatever it was. But Sylvester Stallone made it completely his own character, and his life is what Stallone even lived some things in his own life he put on that character. So basically, what I'm saying is that in Rocky's case, Stallone could actually do more because sometimes when you don't have to adhere to a certain story that already exists, it gives you a little more freedom to build the story out better. And I think that the problem that I have with this movie, first of all, I have something of a problem with the screenplay because I don't know how to explain it to you, but instead of feeling this excitement as she gets better and becomes more of a champion, and also at the same time showing us exactly like the relationship with her husband and how it's problematic, I feel like it's done sort of in a subtle way. So by the time things kind of escalate and become worse and worse, I almost feel like the buildup wasn't good enough. That's one thing. The other thing is that when it comes to the fights, and I rarely say this, I have never seen a movie with worse music when it comes to being like sports and fights. Like this is not rocket science. If you have I don't care if she's a woman, a man, or whatever it is in the ring, if she's boxing and she's fighting and she came from like, a more kind of poor background and she's doing this, there's so much you could do to build this story up, to build some emotion and then bring also some music to really make it like exciting with some adrenaline. Instead, like, one of her first fights or her first fights, you hear like this choir singing quietly in the background and she's just like fighting. I don't want to hear no choir singing. Do you understand, Professor?
Yeah.
Choir choir is some bullshit. Sorry, Sean. That's not what you put in a sports movie. That is a disgrace. And it's rare. Like usually I can go like with the flow with a lot of types of music. I'm like, this is like a red card. You have a boxing movie. You better put in music that's exciting. And Sylvester Stallone knew this. You know what I mean? In Rocky, in all of his Rockies, he understood there has to be some exciting music, or else you're not going to get excited. You need the exciting music. So that I really didn't like, and something about it, it's just kind of it felt a bit long and slow and whatever. On the other hand, I will say this: this is probably the best acting I've seen from Sydney Sweeney. I
Yeah.
actually think that she's a very very decent actress. I say this not because I think she looks good on the red carpet. I think she looks good, but I'm not just saying that because of that. I think she actually went all in this performance. Now, I think I heard some people saying that maybe she was supposed to have a West Virginian accent and sometimes it slips or whatever it is. I can't really say, maybe that's true, but I think that when it comes to like the emotion that she gives, or gives that kind of feeling on screen, there's a lot of really good moments. I would even say that it's her acting in many cases that carries the movie. I'll also give some props to her co-star Ben Foster, who plays like the abusive husband, also did a darn good job here. So I'd say that they both did really really good acting performances, but Sydney Sweeney, in my opinion, does what's asked of her. uh, I think that if Sydney Sweeney had been the type of person that like supported all of Hollywood's favorite uh, movements and ideologies, they probably would nominate her for Academy Award. Maybe even she'd win, or at least nominate her. I think that because she's seen as more of a right-leaning person, she looks nice on the red carpet. She does commercials where she looks nice. Men like her. She goes to the gun range. These are all things that are not going to help her. I think that at the end, for some reason, it'll be one of those things that'll be like, wow, that's quite a snub. I don't think that they're going to nominate her. The only chance she has of being nominated is if they want people to not say that they don't nominate her. Just for that reason of like
Yeah.
not making that accusation that they wouldn't nominate her because of her beliefs or whatever it is, maybe they'd give her the nomination. But I'm more inclined to believe that they're not going to nominate her at all. And I actually think that she did a good job. And I'll say another thing. I know she kind of seems like, people think, oh, because she kind of looks nice and whatever, maybe she's like ditzy and not a good actress. I saw her in 3 movies this year. One was called Americana, where she played like a stuttering waitress. Another movie was called Eden, where she played like a German settler that went to South America or something, like in a period piece. And this movie where she's a boxer. And let me tell you something: out of a lot of the female actresses working today, I don't see many actresses really going all out and trying these different types of roles like she did. And she gave a different type of performance in every one of them. I don't know. I'm not going to say that she's the best actress that ever lived, but I'll say that considering that she's a pretty young actress and she tries a lot of different things, I actually think that she is a good actress. And in this movie, I could tell that she worked hard. And I think that overall, even if there's imperfections with her accent or whatever some people were claiming, and it may be true, I still think that she gave an overall good performance. If there's any reason to watch this movie, it's that I think that like her performance is actually, it stands out as a good performance. I just wish that the music wasn't like people singing choir when they're fighting, that the pacing was stronger, that the buildup and the tension and the thrills and the adrenaline, there was so much more that could have been done here. I almost wish they would have like called Sylvester Stallone and told him, "Hey, can you do something here?" Or at least as a consultant, just bring him to sit there and like consult. Even if you film this movie, at least bring him to the editing room. Just let him say something. That's just my
Yeah.
personal opinion.
Yeah.
Istophobos says she's no Zegler. One sec.
Oh, and Price got dropped. That's all right. He'll be right back. She's no Zegler. No, and nobody is. Thank God. Nobody else is Zegler.
I'm going to surprise you and tell you.
One of her is enough.
It's not necessarily that Zegler is the worst actress. There's certain things that she's good for, especially musicals. You want musicals, you want her to sing and do this kind of more Broadway type of stuff. She's a good fit for Broadway. She just making her this kind of big star of like $100 million, $200 million movies. That I don't think that she's really there. But when it comes to being like some kind of actress on Broadway or something that sings and does this kind of theater thing, that's probably up her alley. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying I've met people from that group that were nice. So I'm not saying that all the people that come from theater are douchey, but I'm saying that there are sometimes people from theater that are a bit snooty and condescending. And that's why I think she's probably a good fit for that. She can go do like her bullshit, sorry, Sean, whatever she does, and there it'll be more well received. Like they almost like it when you're a douche there. At least in my opinion.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Fredo's asked what movie just joined. It was Christy with Sydney Sweeney. So yeah, at the end of the day, I want to look at what score they give it here. They gave it a 69. You know, because of her performance, I may have given it a little bit more, but I can't say that I would have given this a 90 or like 100. It's a movie with flaws, but I do think that she stands out as one of the better parts of the movie. And you know, the fact that it's also a true story is kind of interesting. And I didn't even know it. I knew nothing about it, which is good. I'm happy I also didn't Google or didn't try to read about her. Didn't really know much about anything. Walked in there, and I think that overall this movie does what it's supposed to do. Uh, I, I will still say, if this was Zendaya doing a movie, they would have given this 100. You know what I'm saying? If this was the
Yeah.
same movie and for some reason Zendaya was playing this main character, this grade that you see here would have been 100. Even if her acting would have been bad, it would have been 100.
Mhm.
And I dare say that I think that Sydney Sweeney, this is just my personal opinion, I dare say that she has more of a range than Zendaya. I actually think that Sydney Sweeney needed to show that she had acting chops for this. She needed to go through something of a transformation. It looked like she took this thing very seriously. And yeah, she's a young actress. I still think there's room for improvement. She can always get better, but there are certain things she does well. And yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of actresses. I mean, an actress that's feminine, looks nice, can act in different roles, and seems rather, level-headed and likable. I mean, there really aren't many. That's probably why these kind of Hollywood types hate her so much. It's kind of like Joseph in The Robe.
Yeah.
Joseph in
Yeah.
The Robe, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He had the colorful robe, and everybody was jealous.
Yes. Yeah.
For the professors, like, what is he talking about?
No, no. It's just it was a strange departure, but yes, I follow what you're saying. I was looking up something else as well at the same time. So.
Well, speaking of strange departures, that often happens here on the Night Owl.
Yes.
And yeah, so I'm Caleb Levine. I'm still in awe that Sydney Sweeney wasn't nominated for a work in the great movie Madam Web. That is such a strange movie, Madam Web. Imagine having Sydney Sweeney and asking her to look bad throughout the movie. That alone, if they lost like hundreds of millions of dollars, they deserve it. If you have Sydney Sweeney and you're like, we wanted you to look awful throughout this movie, then there's something wrong with you. Now, in this movie where she's a boxer, obviously they're trying to play down her looks, but at least it's like a biopic about a boxer. In something that she's playing like with superheroes and she's in a costume, if you can't make her look good there, then you have no business making a movie. All you needed to do was just make her look hot in that costume. It was like the easiest gig. The easiest gig. Never has there been like an easier gig in superhero movies. Imagine there was just a poster of like Sydney Sweeney looking hot, being some kind of superhero, looking super hot. Just that alone, probably a few men would have accidentally found themselves in that theater.
Well, I'm just glad that Sydney Sweeney's film got at least scored a 69. If couldn't get 100, at least it scored
69
a
is a good
69.
score. That is a
Yeah,
very positive
it's
score.
it's fresh. Yeah,
It's
fresh
it's a
on the
very interesting score. So
Um,
yeah, I guess that was Christy. I'm trying to think. Did I see anything else? You know what else I watched this week? And I mentioned something online. I didn't expect. Like, actually, I got strange reactions from it. Have you ever watched the movie? What's it called? Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy got fingered. What? No, oh,
No,
sorry, no. Fred versus.
Freddy versus Jason.
Sadly, I've seen both. It's been a
So
really
yeah,
long time since I've seen
I
either
happen.
one, but yeah,
The truth is, I have a confession. Freddy Virtue. I watched like all the movies, all the Nightmare on Elm Street, all the Friday the 13th growing up, and there was one movie I didn't see it in the theater, and I saw maybe the final third of it once, like on TV. It came on, and I watched it like on one of those HBO many years ago, and I never got a chance to watch the whole thing. So I
sure.
sat down and I said, you know what? It's time. You have to sit and make sure you see this movie from start to finish. And I watched Freddy versus Jason. And I watched it last night. I don't know why. I watched the movie. And I'll tell you this, the movie doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Like, I understand what the story is trying to say, but it is a bit confusing. Did you see this one by any chance?
The Freddy versus Jason.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a very long time since I saw it, and honestly, I don't even know that I was paying all that much attention. This is not my genre of film.
Well, the
I think
thing
this
is,
is one that I watched when hanging out with some friends.
this is one where basically both Freddy and Jason are here. Freddy, who isn't powerful enough, basically uses Jason. And because of Freddy sort of controlling him, he goes and he kills like the people on Elm Street. But then they start fighting with each other, and then there's like a big battle. And man, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense in that movie. And then I went to Twitter and I actually wrote that. And I don't know why I got a bunch of quote tweets of people that seemed annoyed about it. Like, most people didn't even like my tweet. It's just that other people were like reposting my tweet, and a lot of people were answering the reposts.
Huh.
Let me see for a second. See if I can find it. How do I find the reposts? Okay, view post engagements, quotes.
Yeah.
So I wrote, can you see this?
No, you're still sharing the Freddy versus Jason
Okay.
tab. Yeah.
So
There we
I
go.
wrote, if you really think about it, the plot of Freddy versus Jason doesn't really make any sense. And then Mr. Bug wrote, what? Freddy needs people to be afraid and hype him up again so he can get powered up. So he sends Jason to do that, finds out he can't control him. Fighting ensues. And like a lot of people were liking that. Like nobody liked my tweet, but everyone liked the reposts.
Yeah.
People were annoyed with me.
Oh
But there was
man,
another one.
people, you get into the horror community, man. They will circle the wagons around any horror film. Even some of the worst garbage I think I've ever seen. They will bring that in, and they will fight to the death over what a great film. Some of these, I'm
Only
trying to remember
robot.
what was it, the one with Jason in space, Jason X, Jason
Okay,
in
that's the
space.
only Friday the
Like,
13th that I didn't watch. I didn't understand why
oh
Jason would be in space. I didn't watch it.
yeah,
But so what happened was at least Robot had understood me, and he's like, "Well, now that you mention it," and I don't know. There was something. I don't know what happened, but there were some funny interactions about it, and yeah, I mean, at least like there was this the actress. The only thing I can say is back in the day, they actually chose cute actresses for these movies.
oh yeah. Oh man, you gotta have good looking women in these horror
No,
films.
not today. Today, they, like, don't even care
No, no,
about that
no. That's
anymore.
why they suck today. That's why they're
Yeah.
garbage.
At least at the
In these
time,
films, these slasher films from the 80s and 90s, you got all this stuff. Even the early 2000s, you got to have hot women in these things. Like
they had it.
that's half the draw of watching these.
I mean, the thing is that they had at least one lady that, like, she was at least pleasant. Yeah, yeah, she was fine in that role. Yeah, I think that back in those days, they're like, we got to have some hot women here. They had hot women, but the guys look good too. They usually brought,
Sure.
like, either usually it's probably people in their 20s playing teens, but never mind. It's like, men and women that look nice. That's what they bring to the movie usually, and they make sure that that's what happens here, even if all of them get killed throughout the movie. At least they had that going for it. They knew that they needed to do that. Today, they won't even do that for us. They're just so lazy. And Jason X, I've never watched it. I don't know. I just it seemed like some weird. It's beyond jumping the shark. I can't believe that I'm saying about, like, Jason jumping the shark, because he went to Manhattan and, like, walked around Times Square and, like, I don't know what. If that's not like jumping the shark, I don't know what jumping the shark is. But somehow Times Square I could put up with, but him going to space was like the last straw. That's it. Like, can't accept him going into outer space.
It's just a step too far for Bryce.
It's too much. That's where I drew the line.
He can
I
die and be reincarnated a dozen times, but yeah, space, too far.
I was willing to accept that he died in a river and then resurrected, and he got upset that they killed his mother, and then he suddenly was invincible, and that like he was in a grave, but then, like, lightning hit him and he kept getting back up and all this weird stuff. I will accept everything except for him going into space. That's it. That's where I draw the line. There's
Yep.
no reason. There's no reason for Jason to go to outer
cool
space.
if Jason takes Manhattan, but not space. Yeah.
See, Takes Manhattan was already really pushing it. That was pushing it. And I thought, until Jason X, I thought that him going to Manhattan was like jumping the shark. But once Jason X happened, I realized that was the jumping the shark moment. Manhattan, you know what? Maybe he accidentally he finds a boat and somehow ends up in Manhattan. I think Manhattan, though, is like they filmed it in Toronto. It looks so cheap. That whole movie looks so cheap. Maybe there's one scene that he's actually in New York. Most of the time, like, he's on a boat. It's such a sham. I'm ashamed to tell you this, Professor. I actually saw that Manhattan one in a movie theater.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you were in that one.
No, I wasn't. I watched it in a movie theater. I don't know why I watched it in a movie theater, but I watched that movie in a movie theater. I don't even remember what year it came out in. I'm embarrassed to say that I saw it in the theater. But
that was 1989 when Jason Takes Manhattan came out.
And you know what's really funny is that I was really young too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm when I saw that, I wasn't like a full grown adult, if you understand. Back in those days, if there was a movie and you had money, you could go see that movie.
Oh yeah.
Most of the time, whoever was sitting there selling the tickets could not care less what your age was, what you were doing, what your business was. Nobody cared. You have the money, you give the money, they give you the ticket.
Yeah.
I've never, as a kid, I never had a situation that somebody said, "Hey, we can't let you into this movie. You're too young." Not even once, Professor. Not once did anybody tell me that. I could walk into any movie you want. Not only that, sometimes you have these kind of multiplexes, so maybe you could buy a ticket. There was another thing. Back in the day, I don't know if that's a thing today. I would see one movie, then I'd get up and see, hey, what other movies are here? And then I'd go to another theater, and I wouldn't buy a ticket, because at the time, it wasn't reserved seats.
Sure. Yeah.
You could just go to the other theater. Nobody would say anything. What are they going to do? Nothing. They can't do anything. Sorry, I mean, I know I sound like an asshole, but you know what I'm
Excuse me,
trying to-
sir. Can I see your ticket?
Nobody, the people working there could not care less about your ticket. Everybody knew what the deal was. You bought a ticket, you can go do whatever you want. That's it. Nobody talks to you anymore. And there's no way to enforce it even. You go there, you go from theater to theater. You could spend the whole day in the theater. And I think they knew it and they didn't care. That was the magic. That was the wonder of movie theaters back in the day.
Back in the day, yep.
Is Phobos Price of Reason live? They found his body 400 years in the future in an archaeological dig, and we're transporting the body to Earth too. Sounds so
Yep,
ridiculous.
that's the setup, and yes, it is every bit as ridiculous as it sounds. Yeah, it's
It sounds awful. It
and
sounds absolutely
it's
awful.
basically a setup to make an alien film, but with Jason as the xenomorph. For the most part, pretty lame.
I think I saw Tulsa King this week. Have you been watching it?
I have not gotten to see this week's. I have been so busy. I did not get to see this week's episode. I'm caught up as of last week, but not this Sunday.
I
So
won't spoil it, but what I will say is this: it continues to feel very run of the mill, and I'm not suffering watching it. It's fine, but I really, really wish it was better. I feel like this season is just kind of going through the motions. You already like the characters, you're kind of watching it, but there isn't a real story driving it. It feels like it's just kind of there. And that's really not a good place for this series to be. I really hope that the next season, which has already been greenlit, I hope that Sylvester Stallone manages, to bring the right people around him and to give us like a much better season. I really feel like this one wasn't good enough. And there was some other thing today. Did you see that Taylor Sheridan is leaving Paramount?
yeah, I wondered if we didn't want to talk about that this evening. I thought that
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
really interesting. Well, that's really surprising. It seemed like that relationship there had been pretty solid. So, and I wonder what that's going to mean for some of those different Taylor Sheridan productions that we have
I
ongoing, including Landman and including you know, well, I don't. What other stuff does he have? He's got Landman, and then he's got Tulsa King. I don't remember what else he's got
I think he
still
had
going
Mayor of
on.
Kingstown or something like that.
Yeah, Mayor of Kingstown. Okay.
He has
Um,
Yellowstone spin-offs and stuff. I don't know.
yeah, I just think there might be still a couple of those that Paramount has.
I don't really understand. I don't get what this guy. I mean, I understand. I sort of understand. Paramount now is different than it was. He probably
It
had
is.
people that were like his people in this place. Now they're no longer there. There's like it's different now. So sometimes when there's like a shakeup and some people come and some people go, you find yourself not in the position you were before. If he had, let's say, people at Paramount before that, he'd call them and say, "I want to do this and this and this," and they all like bow down and say, "Yes, you're the best." And now maybe he called and they're like, "Well, we don't know." Maybe that's enough to get him annoyed. And he also seems like a guy with a big ego, from what everybody believes about him. So maybe he didn't like the cut of their jib of these new people and how they were talking to him. The question is, like you said, uh, yeah, here somebody I didn't even know that it says here he was seldom challenged about scripts or budgets.
Hmm.
And then once David Ellison arrived after the merger, suddenly it says here in this article that's like through some paywall, it says Sheridan suddenly saw that arrangement eroding. So I didn't even see it, and I was telling you, it must be a situation that like forget about the budgets. I understand. It used to be that he's like the king of Paramount because really, if you think about it, this whole streaming service they had, most of the things there that were bringing people in were his shows. So the only thing that was really working and generating some kind of money and revenue was him. And in his mind, he expected to walk in and be treated like the king. He wanted the red carpet. He wanted people to bow down and tell him how great he was. And I guess they didn't do it. They didn't. They weren't quick enough to bow down to him, and he wanted a change of scenery. But yes, I don't know how this all works. I suppose he could still stay a producer on these shows because these are his shows. I don't think that he just
Yeah.
gets removed from his
So
own shows.
yeah. So right. So Taylor Sheridan's contract with Paramount continues and through 2028. Until the end of 2028. I'm not sure which business quarter that ends in, but he will continue, I guess, until that time to oversee the Paramount Plus shows that he still has going: Yellowstone, Landman, Lioness, Tulsa King. Sheridan's current Paramount deal was reported worth about $200 million. But after that contract is wrapped, he's already made a $1 billion deal now with NBC Universal. And that will cover television and film production for a 5-year period starting in January of 2029. So I guess if that starts in January 2029, that must mean that yes, his actual deal with Paramount runs to December 31st, right? It runs to the end of the actual calendar year. You never know with these business things because they have fiscal years and stuff like that that are different from the actual calendar. But that sounds like, yeah, if he's going to start January 2029 with NBC Universal, that would mean he ends at the end of 2028. It said the movie side of things actually commences in March of next year because they don't have a deal. Paramount doesn't have a deal with Taylor Sheridan for film, for movie stuff.
Ah,
And
okay.
so his new deal with NBC Universal for movies will start in March. So that's going to start up much more quickly than some of the other stuff. So yeah, this is a big deal. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff under Paramount that's going through his, is it 101 Studios? That's his studio, right?
No, 101 Studios is actually it's basically Harvey Weinstein's company without Harvey Weinstein.
But yeah, but isn't that the one that Sheridan uses for all of his stuff? Isn't that
Yes, yes.
yeah, okay.
I may or may not have crossed paths with that company at some
Okay.
point, but that it doesn't matter. That's the
Yeah.
only reason why I'm very familiar with with what that company is. It basically it's funny because I knew somebody who worked at that company, and back a long time ago, and this already seems like a million years ago. They were that person was telling me something that they were going to be doing some shows with a guy called Taylor Sheridan. I had never heard of the guy. I didn't know anything about it. And I just remembered that this was sort of a company that, after that whole situation with Weinstein, some people, or at least a lot that were working in that setting, kind of left. I don't know how this all happened, but somehow he was removed and there was all this stuff removed, and this new company emerged. The exact details of how this emergence happened, I can't really tell you, but whatever used to be that Weinstein thing, or at least certain executives, they became this 101 Studios. So I remember this whole story, and I remember also that they were telling me, like somebody that I met was telling me about Taylor Sheridan. Didn't mean anything to me. I thought to myself, this is probably some crap Taylor Sheridan. Like what? And they were saying to me there's going to be like Cowboys, and I'm like, man, this sounds like it's not going to go anywhere. I really didn't believe it. And then at the end, it became such a big hit, and I said to myself, well, you know what? Once in a while, I'm wrong. Although it's not that they explained to me, I didn't really know what they were working on. It's just like if you're like at a cocktail party and some guy is talking about some Cowboys with Taylor Sheridan, you never even heard that name, you may not be impressed at that moment.
Yeah.
I don't blame myself, but I don't make a lot of mistakes. Most of the time, like I think that my analysis is good and I evaluate things properly. That was an instance in which I actually underestimated that situation. I wasn't impressed when that person told me about it, but I guess I should have been.
Mhm.
I've never even told anybody that story, Professor.
Yeah.
It's the first time that I've told that probably to anybody. And
So yeah,
yeah, it was.
it's I'm really kind of amazed at this switch. Obviously, yeah, a lot has been happening with Paramount with the new Skydance merger with David Ellison kind of taking the reins of everything there. Kind of shocking that they didn't hold on to him, right?
Maybe they
Uh,
just think he's expensive and annoying and they don't want his ego and they don't care. The other thing is, like you said, he has a contract until 2028, whatever it is. They probably figured we'll get a few more seasons. He could do whatever he does and then whatever. This is what I understand. They're looking more, if I'm not mistaken, they're looking more at these kind of existing catalogs of shows like The Sopranos and things like that. They're looking to buy Warner Brothers so they can have all these catalogs. I don't know if they will buy it, but I guess they don't want to. They don't see themselves spending so much money. I guess paying him and his shows is very expensive, and they're not so excited about that. They could be making a mistake because really they don't have a lot going on for them. So, and especially if this Warner Brothers deal doesn't happen, it'll really be like a fumble because this was one of the only things they had that kind of had them stand out.
Yeah. So here's another article. This one's from Hollywood Reporter talking about this whole deal. I thought there were some interesting details here. Uh, the seismic poach has sent the industry scrambling to answer a simple question. How did Paramount, the studio with the deepest pockets that recently inked massive long term agreements with Trey Parker and Matt Stone, a film and TV deal with Duffer Brothers, fail to lock up the industry's biggest talent with an arguably perfect record? But perhaps a better question, how much did Paramount actually want to keep him? It talks about how, there's been a rocky relationship here after, a few different things have happened. After the studio changed hands, Paramount didn't give Sheridan a heads up that it had signed Nicole Kidman for a new series that could, in theory, conflict with her shooting schedule for his drama, Lioness. Have you ever watched that show, Price?
Which one?
Lioness.
I did watch it. Yes.
Okay, I've never seen an episode of this. This is the one with Zoe Saldana as a soldier? Is
You
that
know, it is not the best show. I will say that I like Zoe Saldana. I watched the first season, knowing that it's kind of pulpy and silly. She's very, very thin. It's hard for me to really believe that she's like this perfect soldier because she's so flimsy.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
but at the same time, I kind of like Zoe Saldana, so I let it slide. And for the first season was watchable. It wasn't my favorite thing ever. It was watchable, but I think that when the second season came along, I started watching it and I kind of fell off. But what were they saying in the article about it?
So, they were just saying that, there was Nicole Kidman that had that issue, potentially now could conflict with Lioness. Yellowstone famously fell behind due to Kevin Costner committing to other projects. So Sheridan has history with being dealt headaches with talent schedule conflicts. A source familiar with the situation says Paramount had planned to speak with Sheridan regarding the Kidman announcement, but that Sheridan first learned about it through a dinner with the actress before they had the chance. But even that reasoning speaks to the studio not quite prioritizing its relationship with Sheridan. In addition, Sheridan bristled at criticisms of his spending, particularly on Lioness, which received a belated and what now looks like a last ditch effort to save the relationship, third season renewal a few weeks back. And then there was that meeting between Sheridan and a crew of Paramount executives, a bombardment of brass tactic that felt cumbersome for the creative. It was a bad meeting, says a source in Sheridan's orbit. They should have come with three people, Ellison and two others, and sat down and really tried to connect with Taylor. That would have meant a lot. One insider pushed back on the idea that the executive team's effort was Paramount's idea, noting that 101 Studios CEO David Glasser set the guest list. Either way, somebody else had been courting Sheridan with a more low-key style. NBC Universal Savvy Entertainment studio boss Donna Langley, who had multiple meetings with the hitmaker over the summer and who gradually became the Sheridan Whisperer. Initially, Langley approached Sheridan about a film deal, but the conversation expanded to include television and streaming in August when it became clear he was having serious doubts about re-upping his TV deal with Paramount. Yep. So yeah, it sounds like it was just a confluence of a few different things. I think he had kind of felt like he was being restricted a lot under everything that there was going on at Paramount. I'm not sure if he felt like he had much of a connection with the new heads of Paramount. And clearly there was a real connection here, maybe even just a business connection, just shared goals maybe between Sheridan and
He is a
Langley over at
difficult guy.
NBC
I mean, I have to
Universal.
be honest here. He's a difficult guy. He's expensive, and maybe they had their reasons. And it could also be sometimes you have a meeting and people just don't get off on the right foot.
Yep.
Maybe this guy, this Taylor Sheridan, who, like I said, I honestly feel, even with what happened with Kevin Costner, it feels like Taylor Sheridan is very much like has a very big ego. Now, the problem with Kevin Costner is that he also has a very big ego,
Yeah.
which is probably what led to that whole problem with Yellowstone. The final season went off a cliff, and that's on Taylor Sheridan and Kevin Costner. I feel like they're both to blame for that, and they both bear some responsibility there. Uh, he's not easy to work with, this Sheridan guy, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, these last couple paragraphs here, I think, really spell out this as well. It says, when a contract is worth $1 billion, it may seem foolish to think Sheridan's decision might have been more personal than financial, but Sheridan values his independence to a rather enormous degree. And it references an article a couple years back called Taylor Sheridan Does Whatever He Wants. So it seems rather possible that Sheridan being put off by Paramount's team's approach could have been a significant factor. While on the Paramount side, Ellison is used to getting his own way. He
right.
is
I mean,
after,
Ellison is really
yeah,
one of the top rich people in the world. He comes from the, I think, like, his family is like the second richest or something. They are
absolutely, yeah. He's the son of David Ellison, the second richest man in the world.
right, exactly. So this guy is not used to sitting around there and having this guy in his cowboy boots show up with his cowboy hat and telling him, "Yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that." Probably, I can see how this wouldn't work. Like, Sheridan doesn't like it when anybody says anything aside from "Yes, you're the best" and bow down to him. And Ellison doesn't like it when anybody doesn't bow down to him and tell him
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Hollywood Reporter has to say. Basically saying one source suggests Sheridan's controlling nature put off Ellison. Sheridan was running the asylum that was Paramount Plus, the source says, claiming the previous regime had essentially ceded control of the platform to him, and Sheridan didn't want any accountability. Ellison wants to run the show, and he can't with Sheridan there. So it sounds like there was really a pretty significant issue here when we're talking about the egos of these different guys and the way that they see running the Paramount, running Paramount Plus. Sheridan wants his freedom, Ellison wants control, and maybe this was a relationship that was just doomed from the start. Right, and so, for Sheridan moving to NBC Universal, where maybe somebody, understands him a little bit better, kinda gets the way that he works, is willing to let him have that freedom to do what he wants, okay, that seems like that's the way that things are going. I don't think this necessarily means that his shows that are on Paramount Plus will have to shut down once, his time is done. I'm guessing he will not be there as showrunner. It will have to be handed off to somebody else. But, yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting. He is a very much sought after creator. I know there's a lot of people who are huge fans of Taylor Sheridan and the work that he's done, and he's made some fantastic shows. He really has. And, this is a good get for NBC Universal. Really is. If he can continue to have the
Yeah, I mean, also,
creative freedom that he's had and be able to
I,
continue to develop new series that
I will say this though.
people
Sometimes you're
enjoy.
on top of
Yeah,
your game, but you're not on top of your game forever. So what
this is also true.
time will tell if this was a good idea or not. There was something that Estefobos wanted me to look at, and I'll share it for a second.
Yeah,
Something about Biden's strategist, Mike Donilon, that he was supposed to get $4 million in cash if Joe Biden won re-election. I guess it's sort of maybe now people are looking into the people that were around Biden influencing him, especially as he didn't seem like he was on top of his game. I guess that's why this person is now of interest. But the fact that there's like people with financial incentives for him to win and things like that, uh, maybe it raises an ethical question. I don't really know. I quickly read it. Or a bit of it. Uh, I don't know exactly why this was especially. He's talking to investigators, to House investigators. I guess they're kind of grilling him about, like I said, concerns about him keeping a guy in the race that probably shouldn't be there just so he can make money. Certainly not a good look, but I don't know. In any case, I shared that as to.
yeah. There's some there. You wanna know the true story about that whole situation, right? You wanna know exactly what was going on that they wanted to continue to keep basically an animated corpse of Joe Biden in the race and why they wanted to keep him around. You really wanna know, like, who was behind that, who was making that happen. He was barely capable of even I mean, he could
He
barely
didn't
even
know what was
sign his
going
own
on.
name, right?
He didn't know. He had no clue
He
as
had
to what
no
was
idea
going
what
on
was
there.
going on, and so the people around him that were helping to prop that up and keep that whole farce going, you really do wanna know, like, what was the
Yeah, I don't
incentive
think
for that to
anything
happen,
realistic is
but
gonna happen. Nothing is gonna happen to this guy. Nothing's gonna happen to
no, no,
anybody.
very unlikely, very
Very
unlikely.
unlikely. So yes, thought he was going to make money, and he didn't. This is something that Ista sent me that wanted me to look at. Also, it's
And she
Gavin
said, "We got to
Newsom
get out."
apparently pretending to be a man of
Oh
the people.
god, this is so stupid.
And she said, "We got to get out of San Francisco. You're falling behind. I had pretty severe dyslexia.
But I
We
can't
got to
hear
get up in
anything.
Marin County." And
Sorry, Ista. Like, did you hear anything? I couldn't hear anything.
He was pretty quiet,
she
yeah.
just hustled
Can't
me.
hear a word. Sorry, Ista.
Yeah, it's alright. So, essentially, like, he came out and he was talking about, various things on this podcast, essentially saying that, oh, he grew up
In
as
poverty,
a
yeah.
poor boy. "Oh, uh, we only had peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to eat every day." BS, okay?
Mr.
Yes,
Bootstrap.
he did experience, his parents' divorce. He did live with his mother. His father had most of the money, but he literally spent most of his childhood in a multi-million dollar home. Right? His father was wealthy. He was not living his life on, loaves of white bread and mac and cheese. It's such absolute bull crap. It is a nonsense idea to think that he grew up in some sort of impoverished home, and it's clearly some sort of political snow job to try and build him up as this candidate that pulled himself up by his bootstraps, whatever.
This is
He
not.
came
He
from
is not
wealth.
Mr.
He's been
Bootstrap.
wealthy his whole goddamn life, and he's absolutely just he's scum, right? It's absurd. New
I
scum.
just the thing is, I worry that this guy will actually. It'll be an absurd scenario, but I worry that this guy, if he runs, he accidentally wins. See, the thing is that we pay attention to politics. At least, we pay some attention, and we know who this guy is. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't know anything. And I worry that if at the end there's some kind of election at some point and this guy runs, there will be enough like stupid people that'll be like, well, he kind of looks like a politician, which is the only thing I can say about him. He looks like a slippery politician, but that could be enough for people you just won't pay attention and won't know what he's about and just believe his crap. I mean, he's gotten to where he's gotten. He's convinced some people of something. He's terrible at his job and he just keeps getting elected. So there's something that he knows how to do, not work wise, but to get elected. I certainly
Yeah.
hope it's not the case. I think that him being a president would be a disaster. Would be an absolute disaster.
Oh, it would be. It would he's absolutely destroyed his own state. And, if he were allowed into office, federal office, especially the presidency, it would be a nightmare. I mean, he's the worst. He's nothing more than a scummy, slippery car salesman. That's all he is. And he's only in it for himself. He's in it to feed his own ego. He's in it to continue to enrich himself. He's garbage. He's human garbage. And I'm really hoping he's going to be served an absolutely uh devastating defeat this next week with the with this Proposition 50 about them trying to redistrict, politically redistrict stuff in the state after they've, decided, years ago there was, the rules put in place that there was going to be an independent commission that was going to handle all of the redistricting. Now they're wanting to come in and say, no, we're going to take over. We're going to redistrict the way we want to do it because Texas something, right? It's ridiculous.
He raised himself on Wonder Bread and mac and cheese. This is so
Yeah.
stupid.
Uh-huh. It's
This guy is
idiotic.
such a
It's
weasel.
idiotic.
He's such a weasel.
Yeah.
How you could tell just by his face. You could look at his face and you know exactly what kind of weasel he is. But I guess I'm just good at reading people. This works on some people. Some people will fall for this stupid thing.
They will. They absolutely will. No question about it.
Tim Hayes says he seems like he's high on fentanyl. Anything is possible. I don't really know, but yeah, I hope that he doesn't manage to fool people. I think at the end, I wonder what's going to happen in 2028, but it'll
Yeah.
probably be Vance possibly against Newsom.
Who knows? I think right now, if you look at the prediction markets, I think he has a 20% chance of winning. Like, but of course, those prediction markets aren't perfect. But yeah,
The thing with elections is
pretty
that it's
low.
really early. It's really early to
It's
tell.
very early to talk about it. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like all the people panicking, freaking out over Donald Trump, and I love there's always the little timeline meme, They're like, "You are here," and they're showing like you
Right.
haven't even finished the first year of his 4-year term, right?
That's true. Isafobo says the Dems are still paying off the Kamala campaign. That
They
guy's $8
are.
million came out of the campaign donations. No one was ever paid a fraction of that kind of money. Yeah, a lot of strange things going on for sure.
Yep. There's all sorts of stuff happening there. Bills not getting paid. They're deeply in debt. I think right now, I think I saw something with the DNC. I think they said they had only about, oh God, I have to go back and look at it. I think they had 18 million in their war chest versus the Republican National Committee that had almost 40. Just waiting to spend on whatever. So that's not individual campaigns. That's just the national committee. They can distribute money to other campaigns. But yeah, they had severe issues, massive debt left over from Kamala's hugely failed attempt at the White House.
How did they
And
get away? Doesn't anybody have anything to say about how much money was spent there and what happened to that money, or they can just do whatever they want?
oh, there's absolutely people who have stuff to say about it, but they, this was they were running against Donald Trump. There was no amount of money they were not going to spend to try and get
Imagine spending that kind of
get
money and
yeah,
still losing.
it's insane. It's absolutely insane to think about them throwing that kind of money around. And we know, I mean, we've seen examples of this where they'd swing in and they're like, oh, Oprah, you get $2 million if you'll give us a nice interview. Oh, this group over here, we'll give you $1 million. Oh, we'll send out these huge checks to podcasters and to all these influencers if you'll make sure that you're supporting our campaign and you're saying this and you're doing this and whatever. And it was happening all over the place. And they claimed, no, we're not doing that. But then there were podcasters who would come out and say, like, yeah, Kamala's campaign reached out to me and they offered me $40,000 to support their campaign, but I had to read off this script and I had to do these things and whatever. They're like, I'm not going to do that. So
Well, some people probably did, but yeah, I guess some people didn't. We only know about the people that didn't. But speaking of spending money for no apparent reason, it's a good segue to our next story, which Disney, who's officially exiting Doctor Who partnership with the BBC after 2 seasons. Not that this is even a surprise. As somebody that's been reporting stuff on Doctor Who, I've said this a long time ago, and I think anybody with common sense has known. Disney they like woke stuff and they like crappy shows and they're willing to throw around money and do stupid things. But even Disney, after dropping a quarter of $1 billion on this crap and getting nothing in return, the ratings were bad domestically. The ratings weren't good internationally. Nobody was watching this show. They spent a quarter of $1 billion on this show. And even Disney understands that if they're going to spend that kind of money and nothing happens with it, they're not going to invest more. Meanwhile, the BBC, I think that they thought this was like going to be a relationship that lasts for years. I think that they absolutely thought that this thing was somehow going to work. The audacity of Russell T Davies that gets a budget of $250 million to make, maybe there was 8 episodes and 8 episodes. I don't even know, because it was like season 1 and 2 together, if you remember.
Oh yeah. I
I don't even remember how many there were. In any case, he
yeah.
gets this money, Russell T Davies. It's a quarter of $1 billion. It's more money than anybody has ever seen for this kind of show at the BBC. This was theoretically the dream that everybody wanted. And what does Russell T Davies do? He makes it a political platform to peddle his own ideologies and all this other crap, with the BBC leaning in on it and Disney. Together, they formed this kind of woke Voltron of Disney, BBC, and Russell T Davies. But that's the only way I can describe it. It was like the worst, the
Yes.
perfect storm.
Absolutely.
I like I said, I don't call everything woke, but that was the perfect storm of woke is what happened with this thing, and the results couldn't be worse. This was the equivalent of taking a quarter of $1 billion and flushing them down the toilet. And later, and I was telling you this, Professor, that I think at the beginning I was telling the beginning of the show, it turns out that Disney, there's employees, they don't have money to pay the people like that work at their parks. Yeah, they don't have money to pay those guys, but they
Yeah.
have like a quarter of $1 billion to drop on some crap that nobody watched. And if this was their only crap, you'd say, well, once they miscalculated and they spent money. But when we've been learning about so much money that they've been throwing around on these shows, these kind of acolyte disasters, Rise of Skywalker, every day we learn that even the amount of money that we thought that they spent, it ends up being much worse than that. They have lost so much money over the years, spending just on the worst crap ever. And then at the end, they can't pay their employees and they have to like lay off employees. I don't know. Just really annoying.
Yeah.
There feels like an injustice, especially that these employees are not like they're not like those jerk offs that make these shows and spend hundreds of millions of dollars. They're actually people that are just, regular people that came to work at their parks. Instead of looking out for them, they just waste all the money. Something about it bothers me.
Yeah. Refusing to pay the types of wages that they deserved, and yeah, it's wild. But the amount of spending that they have thrown at all of the Disney Plus programming that they've been putting together for the past 5-6 years is absolutely stunning. The amount of money that they have thrown into trying to turn Disney Plus into this new Netflix, not just on the technology side, but even more so on the side of the content. Just throwing money,
I just
just huge bundles of money at people.
I just want to ask a question. Arturo Alejandro Trevino, why are you crying? Because isn't that a crying emoji at the end? That's like a sad emoji. It said good evening, and I looked at the emojis.
Maybe it's been a rough day.
Okay. In any case, that's a guy that I don't see here often. Although I've seen him here before, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
Yeah,
So
it's good to
just
see you,
nice to see
Arturo.
you. Go on. Sorry, Professor. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. I was just, just it's baffling how much money they've thrown after so many of these projects, and they've all been such disasters. I mean, has there been any of these Disney Plus projects that has actually paid off in any way, either in viewership or, obviously not in actual finances other than if they were brought people to Disney Plus. Have they made anything that's actually been successful after all of the millions, literally billions of dollars that they spent on all this content? I mean, like you said, they made uh She-Hulk and the Acolyte, and they made I suppose the first couple seasons of Mando were acceptable, were decent. I know that there were solid reviews for Andor, even though for the most part it was pretty dull show. It had its good points, but I think they could have taken both seasons of that and just made one movie out of it.
Probably.
It would have played just fine.
And it would have
Uh,
been better with a different lead actor. I think that like Diego Luna was never a good fit. Not in Rogue One, not in the Andor series.
yeah,
You need a guy to really carry it. That needed to be a guy with a I'm not saying they could have brought him, but I'm saying like that needed to be like Bradley Cooper or something. That it needed a whole different vibe. A guy that could kind of pull off that he's like slick and he's like, this kind of badass like rebel, but also kind of charming. He didn't have those qualities. He just wasn't right for the role, in my opinion.
yeah. It's just been one failure after another, and then of course, yeah, we got Doctor Who. Not just any Doctor Who. We got this Disney backed, couple of seasons, or I guess I mean, you barely even count it as 2 seasons, but, so you go back at the old shows, they were doing like 26 episodes a season, here it's like, we did 6 episodes and we did 8 episodes, and now that's 2 seasons. Like, that's not sure you count those as seasons, but alright. Uh, they they made this absolute abomination even after we had the terrible seasons with Jodie Whittaker and throwing in this garbage with the timeless child and stuff. Then they come in and they absolutely humiliate Tennant, who came in, of course he was the 10th Doctor, but they
I
brought
just
him
want to
in.
agree. Tomahawk,
Yeah.
Chris Pratt could have done it as well.
Yeah,
Chris
of
Pratt,
course.
Bradley Cooper, somebody with more character and charisma. Diego
More
Luna, in my
charisma.
opinion,
Yeah.
wasn't the right thing. But go
More
on.
more
Sorry.
charisma. No. But yeah, no, they came in and they, "Oh, look, we're bringing back this creator from Doctor Who's past. He helped create the new Who as we know it today, so he's gonna come back and rejuvenate it." But he comes back in, and what does he do? Instead of doing what he did before, writing really solid stories, he spends every single script doing nothing but preaching gender ideology and forcing this stuff into Doctor Who with this gay, prancing, crying version of the Doctor, with Shooty, and it's dreadful. You didn't think it could get worse after Jodie Whittaker, right? And
No, I
then
didn't.
and then we get this, and it was so bad. So bad.
What I was saying in a video that I made, earlier today is that moment was their one moment that they could have done some course correction. They had a quarter of $1 billion. He had basically endless possibilities of what he could do. He had that one moment that he could course correct, try to minimize or even retcon and just get rid of whatever happened with that timeless children thing, steady the ship, do something cool, bring in a good doctor, bring in some good stories. He had everything. You work your whole life and you want to be in that position where Disney's like, here's $250 million, Russell. Is that enough to make some episodes of Doctor Who? That's more money than this guy ever imagined for episodes of Doctor Who. And what does he do? Oh, what about my gender ideology? It's such a sniveling, crappy thing to do. And the more people didn't like it, he starts like attacking them and lashing out at them. It's unfortunate. He may have been back in his day early on. He was like creative and talented and did some cool things, but That's what I was telling you also about Taylor Sheridan. Sometimes maybe you're at the top at some point in your career, and then you just become some kind of old, bitter activist, and that's exactly what happened to him. And that's how he comes off as a grumpy, bitter, old activist. I'm sorry, I don't have any other way to describe it. I'm not 20, and I don't even know how old he is, but to me, he looks like an old, bitter activist. He could be my
Y
age, and I'd still
yeah.
say that about him.
Yeah. No, he's a miserable old something. I just yeah, I can't stand him. And like I said, he went from being someone who was, it's all right. Well, uh, yes, I'm a gay man. That's who I am. But he wrote stories that weren't just about homosexuality and gender ideology. And then he went off and did other shows, did other content, and then just
The
decided that, okay, now everything I write is gonna be
Right.
about gender
He
ideology and being gay.
he didn't
Everything.
understand the fact that he became popular and legitimate due to his work on Doctor Who, and that opened doors that he could then work on shows, then had whatever messaging he wanted. It doesn't mean that if they bring him back to Doctor Who, now Doctor Who is like his own playground for his ideologies. The fact that he thought that is so selfish and crappy. And Istafopoulos said as soon as Space Babies came out, Disney knew they were fucked.
Yeah.
They were tracking the metrics. It wasn't hitting with anyone. They were looking to bail from the beginning.
Oh
I
yeah,
believe that.
they knew
I
real quick that it was a disaster. Yeah, they
I
did.
mean, let's put it this way. Initially, when the first season of, the Ncuti Gatwa came out, you could tell when you went to Disney Plus in the US, it would recommend it, it would put it on the front page. It would really want you to watch this show. But then, throughout that season, maybe even during season 1, but for sure, once it came around to the second half, like the season 2, whatever it was, Disney was no longer promoting it. They're not asking people to watch it. They're not putting it in their recommendations. They couldn't care less. On the contrary, they preferred if you didn't watch it. The less you watch it, the more they can say, "Look, nobody's watching it. We want
Nobody's
nothing to
watching
do with
it,
it."
so
Yep.
we have to cancel and
And the other thing is, they didn't even want to waste a slot on that kind of recommended page on something that's so stupid and brings them nothing. And the fact that I saw that, I already said when the second season was airing that this thing that it can only end one way. I knew at that moment that there's no chance that Disney are going to continue this.
no.
And
Yeah.
I don't blame them. I mean, the thing is, I'm sure that whatever input they gave was woke and stupid. I'm sure that they have a part in this, but this is very much also, like I said, with the woke Voltron thing or Woketron, what people are saying.
Yeah.
BBC and
Voltron.
Russell T Davies, it's not like they wanted to make him like the classic Doctor. They weren't trying to go back to like the Tom Baker era, and Disney said, no, we want Ncuti Gatwa. Russell T Davies and the BBC did exactly what they wanted to do. Disney joined in on the festivities, and at the end, it ended up a failure for everybody involved. One of the biggest failures ever, waste of money. And the worst part is they just took such a popular franchise that was at a key moment that they could have fixed, and they flushed it down the toilet.
Yep. Yep. And now, of course, what we have left, there is still some Disney funded productions, some episodes that are left to come out. We have a small little mini series that's sort of a spin-off of Doctor Who
Ah, yes,
called
there's a spinoff.
The War Between the Land and Sea. It's going to be a unit focused, I think is it 5 episodes, 6 episodes? That's due to come out very soon. So we'll see we'll see that coming out by the end of the year. I think that's supposed to come out over the holiday period this year, maybe early in the next year. But then after that, we've gotten word that now they are planning to do a Doctor Who Christmas special, not for this year, but for next year. And so we'll be getting something then. Of course, that is not going to be funded by Disney. They're not going to have any part of that. So what we're left with is something now that they're saying we're planning to have this new Christmas episode this Christmas special next year.
This thing is
And
bullshit. It's bullshit, this Christmas episode.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
go on.
and but then, we don't really know for sure whether that's going to involve bringing back RTD. It's certainly not going to involve bringing back Shooty. There's
No. They
no
said
way.
they said in their announcement that they're bringing back Russell T Davies to write the Christmas
They
episode.
are, okay. Okay.
What people believe, and I don't know if this is going to happen, but what most people think is going to happen is that RTD is going to bring back David Tennant. You have Billy Piper in there, and he's going to create a reunion of Billy Piper and Tennant. Uh, I don't know where I saw a video today. It's already been a blur that somebody said, or maybe somebody told me that maybe in that episode, by the end of the episode, both like Billy Piper and like the Doctor will merge into one new Doctor. I don't even know, but the whole thing sounds crappy to me. They're obviously gonna try to, maybe tie up whatever's going on here. This nonsense that Russell T Davies did. There's also another issue that apparently these episodes that Disney did, it's a separate entity from the regular Doctor Who. So the question is, who gets to keep that? Will the BBC continue to show it, or will it only be on Disney? There's a bunch of questions that I'm not sure what happens to those episodes, but not that it's a loss for anybody. Nobody even cares. If I were the BBC and I wasn't stupid, which they are, I would just retcon all of this out of existence. I would retcon Jodie and Shooty and Doctor 14 and whatever it is. I would delete all of that from existence.
Absolutely.
I would
Yep.
fix it so that I would pay Capaldi whatever money he wants, as long as it's somewhat reasonable, and make a retcon that has Capaldi, like, just all of what happened was a dream of Capaldi, these few years of this crap.
Yeah,
He had a bad
find some
nightmare.
way to do that, some way to fill that in where all of where this never really happened. He never regenerated into Jodie and all of the Chibnall absolute I don't know what to call it other than just bullshit. I mean, it was terrible. Sorry, Sean.
It was. No, it was.
It was a disaster. Here's the thing. I was actually willing to give Jodie a shot because I don't hate Jodie. Okay, I really don't. I think she can be a good actress. She can be funny. She can be dramatic. I was fine with. I'm like, okay, let's see what happens, right? But the writing, first of all, the writing for the last couple seasons of Capaldi was pretty abysmal, but it got exponentially worse introducing that female doctor and the writing. It became some of the just on the nose, just garbage. Like, oh, we're gonna spend this episode talking about racism. Get ready. Oh, look how racist all these people are. Now we're gonna spend this episode talking about feminism. Did you know feminism? And there's lots of people out there who are misogynists. Yep, we're gonna talk about that. Oh, look, it's Rosa Parks. Yeah, we're gonna have I mean, just awful. Awful, awful stuff. Some of the worst writing I've ever seen. Not funny, not amusing, terrible companions, just awful. Absolutely terrible. I couldn't even finish. I got a couple episodes into the second season of her. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. I can't do it.
Double R
This
Star
is so
says
bad.
Tennant is a woke extremist. He is a woke extremist.
Absolutely, he is. Oh
one
yeah,
of the-
he's one of the save the dolls, idiots.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is that between RTD and Tennant coming back and everything they did, they've like tarnished their own legacy. RTD had a really good legacy with his work on Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
David Tennant as well. Them coming back here has only tarnished it. It's really, really unfortunate that they both came to do this. But they even Tennant was excited with the pronouns and all that stuff. He loved it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he was down for coming back for those 50th anniversary specials, which were not 50th, 60th anniversary specials. Were to draw people back in, so that they could look at it and say, "Oh, look, oh, nostalgia. We're gonna get to see the 10th Doctor again." Where no, what you get to see is David Tennant up there being lectured to about pronouns, and then saying, "Oh, I guess I was gay all along. Yeah, I like men." Like, it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. and an absolute bait and switch, drew people in, and they created some of the most nonsensical BS with bi-generations, and then Shooty's doctor pulls out a giant mallet and hits the TARDIS to make a second TARDIS. Like, just what? So unbelievably dumb.
So it was embarrassingly bad. It was really, really awful.
So dumb. I watched that episode and I was like, am I having an aneurysm? Is there something going, like, this can't be what they actually think is good writing. This is massively dumb. But now they've still got Tennant around, so they can bring him back. And that I would guess they probably will do something with. They're gonna have something with Billy Piper, something with David Tennant. It's gonna be, the only thing they can do, Price, that if they do decide to have a new doctor, they now they've gone, they've had a woman, and then they've had a gay black man. The way this works, I mean, this, Price. The way it works is we have to start working our way up the oppression ladder. Right. So the next version of the doctor can't be a white man. It's going to have to be someone who's even more marginalized and more oppressed than the previous version. That's how the woke stuff works here. So
you can never go back. Once you go woke, you can never go back.
You can't go back. So you have to continue to work your way through this ladder of oppression here. So that means the next doctor is going to have to be neurodivergent, trans, something, even more marginalized than the previous.
Unless some normal people just take over this thing and start doing something right, but with the way that it's going now, I don't see it happening.
That is not happening at the BBC of today. I think their best possible option, the best thing that can happen to Doctor Who at this point, is that after this planned Christmas special, if it even happens, this planned Christmas special next year, that they put the whole show on hiatus for maybe a decade, where we can find a way to just rewrite this and pretend everything that happened the last couple of years of Capaldi and everything that happened with the last two doctors just disappears.
It gives the opportunity to take it away from the people that are doing anything now. Just distance themselves from this thing. Put some space between them and the franchise. By the way, this is a trailer for something. I don't even know what it is, but I saw Drinker and a few other people saying that it's funny. It's for an upcoming movie. I don't even know what it is, but I'm wondering, is it a comedy or something? Let's look at it for a second.
Not sure.
Well done, Father.
England, 1931. Welcome to Fackham Hall, home to the Davenports.
Finally, one of our children is to be wed.
After so many years of courting, she's finally found the right cousin.
It was a different time. A simpler time.
You're here for the position of hall boy, is that right?
You've brought all the wine up from the cellar.
Yes, Mom.
And closed the cellar hatch.
A time of manners.
Stop gawping and do your job.
A time of modesty.
What is that you're reading?
It's a tale of forbidden love.
Oh boy!
And a time of murder.
I'm here regarding the murder of Lord Davenport.
I'm afraid you're too late. Someone's already done it.
I believe the murderer to be in this room. I shall be watching you all. And if there's anything out of the ordinary, you can be damn sure I'll notice it. If you want a real suspect, try looking into that orphan boy.
Tell me your dreams.
Well, I have this dream where my penis falls off, but I can't go to the doctor because I'm late for school.
Same.
What on God's flat earth is going on?
Oh, well, you made it to 7.
To London's oldest ever chimney sweep.
How How does anyone know when they're in love?
Maybe there's just something in the air. Fuck 'em all.
Precisely.
God is there shining a light, and today he's shining a light for these two arseholes. And today he's shining a light for these two. Our souls are eternally in his debt. Amen.
There were a few funny jokes in there.
Yeah, it's almost like a mix of a.
It said that it was a mix of
like a Naked Gun and
Downton Abbey.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's
well,
what it said.
yeah. I'm not even thinking like Downton Abbey, more like a traditional British sort of whodunit kind of a thing. Yeah. Fackham Hall. It's like, it's a film, or is it a?
It's a film, I guess. Yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You could do worse than that.
Looks funny to me. Yeah. Yeah. We could use some irreverent, silly
We
comedies.
really
in
could. I
there,
really
yeah.
wish we got more of it. And I don't know if they're capable of laughing now, but back in the day, there was this kind of British, the dry humor, which I rather like, but these days, it's hard to
Yeah,
be
today that's just as likely to get somebody arrested.
right. They hate that stuff now, but maybe somebody managed to go under the radar and do something. By the way, did you see that there's Grokpedia? Did you try it?
Actually, yeah, no, I was gonna mention that. It's interesting. We were talking earlier about we were talking about Christy Martin. Because I was like, oh, who is this person? So I was looking that up on Grokpedia. A lot of people have been talking about this as this is starting to work, and a lot of people already very happy with what they're starting to see here on this new platform. So far, it's very basic. You're not getting pictures of people. You're not getting a lot of stuff, but you're getting what they are hoping is going to be basically factual information that's being reinforced by Grok, going and searching for different articles, posting things, looking and fact checking different stuff from different sources, and then providing you the sources along with it that you can go and you can check. So it's a very interesting project right now, pretty bare bones, but I don't know. I'm kind of interested in this because yes, there's no doubt that Wikipedia has been ideologically captured. It's been that way for a while. What do you think, Price? Have you spent any time looking at it?
I did, and I'll say this. First of all, I wanted to show you something. It seems like Google is unhappy because if you put in Grokpedia, it tries to make you go to Wikipedia even before. If you just start typing, it starts to like try to correct you to go to Wikipedia. Then if
Yeah.
you press enter, it's like, did you mean Wikipedia? Like they really don't want you to go to this place.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Stay away.
and then when you press it, there's also things like if you look at like let's say Gamergate. Things happen here that you don't see. You know how in Wikipedia you get that kind of far left lens of what Gamergate is and all that. This is a whole different ball game, including also with Sweet Baby Inc. All that stuff. No nonsense. Even also, if you look at stuff, and this was stuff that interested me, I looked at stuff like The Last Jedi, and when I did The Last Jedi. It gives a far more balanced thing. It just says like this polarization fueled significant controversies, including accusations of deliberate deconstruction of Star Wars lore and backlash against Johnson's creative decision, such as the portrayal of Luke Skywalker. It's a lot more like grounded. It's not this kind of nonsense. See, if you read the Wikipedia ones, it's like they want you to think that whoever thought that this thing was like a woke piece of crap was like somehow a terrible person. That's not what happens here. Here they say like, uh, it tries to give a balance. It's not just saying like everything is woke and crap, but it gives an angle here of the fact that there were a lot of people that watched it that were unhappy with it and how it kind of fractured the Star Wars fan base. It's a lot more I like what's written here a lot more than what you see in Wikipedia, and I think that this is, analysis is a lot more fair. Whether
Yeah.
it's done by AI or whatever it is, the AI is doing a better job than Wikipedia's.
Yeah, and the idea here is it's essentially it's generating this. It is using AI to go in and generate these automatically. So it's not using humans going in and writing this stuff. It's using the AI to pull on different sources. And again, you can see it inserts the sources along the way. Like you can actually see this. Here's this source. Here's that source that backs up this different stuff. And then once you are logged in as a user and you begin working here, you can go in and you can say, hey, there's something right here. This is factually incorrect. So you can go and you can select it. Anybody can do this. They can go in and they can say, hey, this, fix this. And then they can send the recommendation on to Grokpedia. It's looked at by the AI, it's looked at by people. And then they double check whatever. So you don't have this whole idea where let's say like right now, let's say you looked at this article price on Wikipedia and you went in and said, well, that's not right. There were actual genuine real criticisms of this film from a lot of people that argued, that this thing or whatever was, that it wasn't a good film and that there were these real things that happened. It wasn't just some incel backlash or something like that, like a lot of people want to claim. It wasn't just a bunch of racists out there trying to go after Kelly Marie Tran or whatever. Like, if you tried to make corrections to that Wikipedia article, you could go in and you could try and change that as just a typical, person with the ability to edit something on Wikipedia. And immediately you have super editors that are to go in and look at it and say, no, change it back. I'm the one in charge here. I get to
Right, that
decide
happened in every
what happened
sensitive kind of topic, especially
all the
when it came
time.
to pop culture stuff, and they were such jerks about it. Like, you could see there's a lot of things that you could see sort of in the way they edit stuff. You could tell that they're just lurking there to try to change anything you have to say so that they can peddle whatever propaganda they wanted.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
they
and
got
that
very greedy.
Yeah, that happens in areas all over Wikipedia. I've mentioned before, one area that is absolutely ideologically captured is any discussions that have to do with global warming, climate change, any of those different areas that have to do with, melting sea ice or polar ice, whatever, like all of those different areas. They are underneath, a handful of super editors that are in charge of those areas, and they will allow absolutely no challenges whatsoever to the ideas of anthropogenic global warming. If you suggest anything in there that says that no, this is settled science, it's real, we're all gonna die, we have 12 years before the seas rise and we're all killed. If you try and provide anything, no matter how factual any of what you might post in there is, they will go in and immediately delete it. And they will not brook any kind of, different view of stuff in their articles, and it's been that way for a long time.
Especially if you looked at Gamergate 1 and 2,
Yeah,
you
sure.
you could not change what they wrote about that. They had their, like, incel narrative, and there's nothing you could say. Nothing at all that would, like, change anything there. There would always be super editors, like you said, lurking there, changing back anything you change, and a lot of sensitive topics or things that were sort of divisive or things that at minimum you could show a few different angles. Uh I mean, I think it's fair enough to show different angles about an issue, but to just flat out make it so they explain to you what that issue is and not allow anybody to edit anything or present anything else that provides any kind of additional context or anything, there's something wrong with that system. And that's why I am rooting for Grokpedia. I hope it works.
Yeah, it looks to me like this is gonna be a pretty successful project. It's leveraging AI in a way that I think is gonna be really beneficial to help them actually start filling out this online encyclopedia. It's set up in a way to allow lots of people to fact check and edit things, and for those to be, brought in and adjusted and changed, when necessary, and without having, these super editors who are in charge of different areas who can come in and just impose their will on, whatever it is that's posted here. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting how this is getting, pretty regularly, updated, and we're going to continue to see this develop going forward. So eventually, I think they're going to have, they're going to have more sources. They're going to have lists of sources outside of just those things that are in line with the data there, which they already do have. A lot of those listed at the bottom, and then they're going to have, they're going to start including things like photographs and so on that will become part of what's available in Grokkapedia. So yeah, uh, pretty interesting project. It's kind of funny to see, someone like Elon Musk just finally saying, "I've had enough." Right?
Surprised
Wikipedia
he didn't
is
do
a
it sooner,
disaster.
actually.
So, yeah, yeah. Oh, and I'm gonna mention that, Wikipedia constantly begging you for money, and I'm like, yeah, no, screw off. I'm not giving you any money because you're a bunch of ideological hacks. Yeah, I look up an article here, an article there that's valuable, but most of the time, I look at it, and half the time I can't even trust the sources that I'm looking at, especially if it's on anything that has any controversial sides to the takes that are there. It's pretty frustrating. Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to see this project continue to grow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I think it's an important project, and I hope it goes well for him. Did you see that there was stuff with Halo in the White House?
Oh, yes, I was actually looking I was gonna pull that up,
Yes, I figured
earlier.
that's a good one for you to
I
describe.
I I did, saw that, let's see, can I
And like
you know
GameStop
what?
was involved.
I know that, Grums was saying some stuff about it. Maybe I can find his post real quick.
There was also, GameStop was also getting involved in the memes. A bunch of kind
Let's
of
see.
surprises with that.
There was this I can't seem to find the original an original post from Homeland Security or from ICE, but I do have this one from Grums here, where he is talking about this. It was reposting something here from Stephen Totillo, saying, "I spoke to early Halo devs about the ICE post. One called it abhorrent. Another using Halo imagery in a call to destroy people because of their immigration status goes way too far and ought to offend every Halo fan, regardless of political orientation." So they had this, this image is destroy the flood, join ice.gov, right? Showing, just this thing as Master Chief. And then there was another post, I believe, that I don't know if it came from ICE or from the White House. Let's see, I don't know if it's included in here somewhere. Uh, but it had Trump showing up like looking like he was Master Chief. I thought all those were pretty funny, but I did like Grum's point here. These people had no problem mixing their politics in with games and insisted all games had to be political. Now they're mad because they only meant not your politics, right? How dare you insert your politics into the game? And it's ridiculous too that someone looks at this and says, "Oh, they're talking about killing immigrants who not with not the right status because it says destroy the flood." For God's sake, people, just calm down for like 5 seconds. It's so absurd, and it's just a meme, right? Yeah. I don't know. Had you seen any other stuff about it, Price? Because
No, just what you were saying. Exactly what you just said. That's pretty much what I
yeah,
saw. But I
just
thought it looked amusing.
Oh yeah, no, it's funny.
Oh, and I saw that GameStop was suddenly involved.
Oh, you saw some with
Because
GameStop too?
GameStop has a lot of memeability to it. So GameStop were like
Yeah.
retweeting the White House. The White House was like retweeting GameStop. It was like the console wars and all this kind of a lot. There was a lot of humor going on about console wars and things like that they've ended now, and now there's gonna making it.
Oh, you're talking about the GameStop console wars thing. Yeah,
Yeah, that
okay.
was funny too.
Yeah. Declaring the console wars over. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so there was
there's
that
yeah.
exactly.
GameStop declares an end to the console wars thanks to Trump due to Halo re-releasing their flagship franchise on PlayStation. So yeah, whereas for the past 2 decades, the global gaming community has been enraged in ongoing and increasingly petty conflict known as the console wars. Whereas said conflict originated in the early 2000s with the release of Halo Combat Evolved. Uh, console war started way earlier than that, but okay. Whereas Halo Campaign Evolved is officially coming to PlayStation in 2026 with cross-platform play. Therefore, GameStop, acting under its authority as a neutral entity, the world's retail gaming and trade-in destination, hereby declares the official cessation of the console wars. All claims to exclusivity are hereby dissolved. Console loyalists are instructed to cease hostilities, disband militias, and enjoy the new era of gaming. GameStop will continue to operate as a demilitarized zone, offering hardware, accessories, and trade-ins to combatants on all sides. Power to the players. Yeah, I thought this was very amusing.
It was amusing, yeah.
The very clever, and then yeah, they've got the Donald Trump shaking hands with Master Chief. Here's the problem. Halo's a dead franchise. Every game they've put out, the most recent games they put out, each new one they've put out has been worse than the last. And I could care less whether they're putting out this combat or campaign evolved, whatever, on PlayStation.
Oh, wait. Somebody gave us a chat and I didn't see it. I'm so
Oh, did
sorry.
we miss one? Oh, yeah, Davion Donaldson. I saw that one, and then we kinda got into a conversation. Looks like that happened around 12:45.
I'm so sorry if you're still
Yeah.
listening, Davian Donaldson.
I still see Davion in the chat, so.
So Davian, I'm sorry, Davion Donaldson. We're seeing it now. We're gonna share it. I'm gonna find it right now. Hold on. Okay. We're sharing it. So first of all, Tim Hayes has been a member for 10 months. Thanks, Tim Hayes. That's good to know. Tim Hayes is a good guy. He's always here hanging out with us. He's been here, really from the beginning, and really cool, man.
Yeah, tweeting out our shows on
Also,
X. We appreciate
always
that as
helping
well.
us.
Yeah.
For sure. Then Davion Donaldson. Congratulations for Sydney Sweeney for winning award for Christy. She definitely deserves it. Well, she didn't win one yet, and I suspect she's probably not going to win anything. But hey, you know what? I would give her some awards. I saw how she looked on the red carpet for that movie, and she looked good. Another thing that I want to tell you about that Christy movie that was a bit weird. She's supposed to grow old. And for some reason, when she's young, they want her to look dumpy. And as like she gets older, suddenly she's like blonde. I suspect that in real life, as she got older, she didn't look younger and better. But somehow in this movie, for whatever reason, as she gets older, she suddenly looks like she dyes her hair blonde. She looks nicer. Like by the end of the movie, she almost looks like, they make her look less dumpy. It doesn't make any sense, though, because she looks too young to be in that age that she's supposed to be there at the end. I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but in an effort to maybe show that, like, at the end she's thriving, they make her look, like, good at the end, but I don't know if the age fits or if it makes any sense. I'm not complaining. I mean, a good-looking Sydney Sweeney, it's not a bad thing. It's just it's kind of confusing when it comes to the age. I don't know if I explained myself well, but if you saw
Yeah,
the movie, I
no,
think
it's
you'd
fine.
understand what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Thank you,
Well, maybe
Davion
not
Donaldson.
maybe not like quite as fit, sort of earlier on, and then maybe being more fit as the film goes on. You think maybe that was what they were
There's like a
going
part
for?
at the end that she's standing at the supermarket or something, and somebody comes to talk to her, and it's supposed to happening like much later. If the original movie starts like in 1989, at this point she's already like a much older woman, but she doesn't quite look like the age they want her to look, and she kind of looks decent in that picture when they see her in the supermarket. So I'm just thinking to myself, did they just figure like, fuck it, sorry, Sean. Like they're just like, you know what? She looks okay. Let's just who cares? Like let's just
Yeah,
somebody was just like, whatever, just put her there. It'll be fine. It doesn't make sense with the aging, but you know what? I let it slide as well. Just suddenly thought of it. And thank you, Davion Donaldson, for the 10 pounds. I appreciated that.
yeah,
Appreciate that very much. The last time I used pounds when I was in London, and yeah, it took me a bit to adjust to pounds because it's different. It's not the same as dollars, and took me some time to adjust to that. But yeah, it's cool, and the money looks cool too. Used to look cool. I don't know what it looks like now, but
yeah,
used to look cool. So
yeah.
thank you for that,
It's
Davion.
it's not as goofy looking as that rainbow crap from Canada, but it's still a little weird.
By the way,
Uh,
did you see that Katy Perry is dating uh what's his face? Justin Trudeau?
Oh, I did, yeah, but before we move on, I was gonna, say I got the actual GameStop account up here, so we were talking about, the
Oh
White
yeah,
House
go
and
ahead.
GameStop going back and forth. So here's the original statement from GameStop, and then they said, "Say what you want, but we outlived the console wars," because there were people who were, community noting them, saying, "Oh, the console wars are still going on," or they've been started longer than that ago. I mean, honestly, yeah, the console war started a long time ago. Yeah, if you go all the way back, Sega and Nintendo, right? That was really the original, really solid console wars. But so then later on, the Rapid Response 47 posted the President Trump providing over the 20-year console wars, and then that's where we got this picture. GameStop posting that picture of Donald Trump shaking hands with Master Chief. Um, they mentioned about the PlayStation 2 being released 25 years ago. One of the legendary consoles, by the way. PlayStation 2, absolutely incredible console. And then, of course, later on, the White House posted this one, the of him as Master Chief.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw that one too.
yep. And so then GameStop posted this one.
That's funny. I love that there's like fun things going on. I think this is fun.
But having yeah, using the fake meme version of JD Vance back
That's
there.
always funny. That fake. I don't know why that fake. Is it like JD Advance or whatever it is? In any case, that fake JD Vance is amusing.
Yeah, yep. And people using it all over the place to troll people. It's so funny. Yeah.
And he's a good sport about it, so
He
that's
is. He's
good
a he's
too.
a good sport about it. He gets it. It's just it's for the fun of it. It's not actually as much making fun of him as it is making fun of the people trying to make fun of him, right? So yeah, they've got other stuff on there too. But yeah, this one where the White House posted the one thing and then they came back with that. Just
It's funny. I
amazing.
mean, the thing
Just
is
amazing.
that if I were him, I would think this is amusing because obviously this is like a meme. It's funny.
Yep.
And I think it's very clever of him to really lean into it the way he is. And I don't know, seeing this kind of a JD Advance thing, always funny.
Oh. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. So uh
So quickly, I wanted to just show you this. Listen, I never thought much of Katy Perry back in the day,
yeah,
though. In her youth, at least she was like mildly, she looked all right. Her music was never really any good, but I thought she looked all right. Her
yeah,
dating Justin Trudeau, it really like, it
totally
makes me
weird.
think it makes me think less of her.
Yeah. Well, did you see the recent, like, she had a concert the other day where she was standing on stage and, like, her eye was twitching uncontrollably?
I didn't see that. That could be because of, like, a lash or something, so I don't really know.
It was very weird looking. People were saying, like, her drone was having a glitch or something, like,
She's
she
like
had
a
a
fembot, like in,
software
Austin
glitch. Yeah,
Powers,
yeah,
yeah.
she's a Fembot or something. I can tell you exactly what it is. It's a bunch of nerve damage from, having, plastic surgery and Botox all over the place. That's
Ah, that
but
that is
that's
that is
the
possible.
that's the very likely, cause of it, but, it could also be any number of different, substances she might have, consumed. But yeah, she had that, and then she had on this bra that had pop cans for covering her tits. It was weird, but then she did a whole thing where she leaned down and, like, cracked open one of the pop cans and, like, was jiggling around to get whatever the stuff coming out of the can on the breast for bra. It was so bizarre. I'm like, This is entertainment now? This is what people find this amusing?" Like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all, but, we do know she kissed a girl and she liked it, and that girl's name was Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I have a strange middle of the night lore to give you about Katy Perry, although
Oh,
it's really
boy.
not that interesting, really, really not that interesting. It's just a funny story, but it practically has nothing to do with her. I knew a guy years ago, a friend of mine. He's kind of a wacky guy, very smart, but kind of eccentric and strange. And I think I was having a beer with him. It's a guy that I don't see often. I haven't seen him also in years. And he said to me, "Listen, I know Katy Perry." I said, "Oh, okay." He's like, "I got her phone number." I'm like, "Okay." And I don't believe one word this guy is saying, and I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Here, I'll give it to you. Here's her number." And like he either texted it to me or I don't know what. It's like, "This is Katy Perry's number. You should call her." Now the thing is I guess the guy left at some point and it was on my phone. And out of sheer curiosity, I guess I couldn't not call the number because I don't know why. I mean, it's not like I have anything to say to Katy Perry 15 years ago. I actually pressed the button, but she never answered. And I honestly think that was not her number. I think this was all some weird scheme. I don't know why he told me that he had her number. I don't know why I called. Maybe because I didn't believe him. I wanted to see that it wasn't her, but nobody ever answered. So if it was Katy Perry's number, I'll never know because she didn't answer the phone. I know that's a strange story, but it
Too
happened to me and it's weird. And I just
it's too bad. It's too bad.
the odds of this guy who was like half crazy giving me Katy Perry's number while I'm drinking a beer was always not going to be very likely. I think it says something about me that I actually tried calling it. I'm like, is this real?" And like I clicked on it.
You wanted so much for it to be true, Price. You
I wanted it
really,
to be
really
true.
wanted it to be true.
Well, I mean, at the time, to be fair, today you see her with like Justin Trudeau, and she looks all weird with her eyebrows or whatever you're talking about, eyelashes. But this is like 15 years ago. At that time, she was like making videos, and in every video, she looks pretty nice. So even so, it's not like I don't. What would I even have said? Let's say it was her number. What would I have even said to her? Like, hey, like a weird friend of mine gave me your number. I mean, I don't. It was so stupid. Uh, I think I knew it was fake. I knew it was going to be fake. Anyhow, I don't know how we got to talking about this.
Just one more crazy thing happening out there.
To me, which is usually what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can check with Trudeau. In any case, so yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I've always thought that she's kind of ditzy, and it's not like I liked her music, but back in the day, she at least didn't look bad and whatever, and like she looked stupid when she went on that spaceship and everything. But going out with Trudeau, that's like a whole level. That really makes me lose respect. And apparently, Jeff Bezos' wife was the matchmaker. She connected between Trudeau and Katy Perry.
Really?
That's what they say.
Huh. Well, all right then.
I
Whatever.
guess.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You all would have called the number. You would have called that number if you had it. Out of sheer curiosity. I'm just like, I don't know.
You kissed a girl, but you've never kissed me. Which
I was very gullible, but I did call. I admit that I did. So yeah, so that was her. I'm trying to see just before we start, we're already getting to that point. I just want to make sure that we covered everything. We didn't forget anything. Uh Let me see for a second. Let me see. See, there's so many layoffs. There's also Amazon layoffs.
Oh gosh, yeah, they've been talking about there's a bunch of possible layoffs. The Amazon ones are interesting. Amazon's been trying to keep a lid on it. They haven't really come out and talked about it, but yeah, there's the potential for them to lay off around potentially 160,000 over just the next year or so.
That's a lot
And
of people. Why is it?
six hundred thousand over the next 5 to 10 years, and
Is it
all
because
of
of
that
AI?
they're talking about being able to automate up to 75% of their operations in all of their distribution centers worldwide. So eliminating essentially 3 out of 4 human beings
But what,
in those different
but what are all
facilities
these people
worldwide.
going to do, Professor? That's the thing with AI that I
Yeah.
wonder to myself. What happens to all the people? Like, what are they going to do? Nobody's going to have a job anymore.
Yeah, you know, these low skill jobs, this is the most likely thing to happen. If all you're doing is picking up items and sorting those into a box, a machine can do that pretty easily. And especially now with all of the advancements that we've had in AI, with object recognition, computer vision, it's not a particularly difficult, particularly challenging thing. And the reality is that when you talk to these people, to these companies about automating this stuff, there are a lot of incentives to adopt this kind of technology when you think about it. I mean, genuinely, and I talk about this in my own classes that I teach. Yes, these systems are going to be expensive, and yes, it's going to cost people their jobs. But if you've got a system that's automated and it's programmed and it's designed well, you've got a system that can uh, do this same type of very basic job of sorting some stuff into a box that a human can. It can do that in a lot of cases more accurately. It can do it more quickly. It doesn't need breaks. It doesn't join a union. It doesn't come to work loaded, drunk, uh, having had a lack of sleep, doesn't have accidents on the job. We don't have to worry about paying for health insurance. You don't have to worry about paying for all the. There are massive incentives as these technologies continue to drop in price, and as well, let's just face it. I mean, as a lot of different municipalities, different areas, and including unions continue to press for higher and higher wages, it makes these automated systems that
But
much more affordable.
I understand everything you're saying, but
Yeah.
I still have the question of if everything's going to be automated and everybody just all across the board in so many fields are going to lose their job, what happens then? I mean,
There's going to be lots of places where we have people who are not going to lose their jobs. In more creative areas, there's going to be a lot less of there's going to be a lot less of that. Machines are not good at being creative. They're not going to be good at being creative, although there's still going to be a lot of people who are happily going to accept uh, the idea that an AI can come in and it can look at 70 different versions of a script and just sort of summarize one version of it and sort of just regurgitate stuff and treat that as being quote unquote creative. Because the truth is that that's what most of the writers in Hollywood do now. They just regurgitate anyway. So, hey, yeah, if we don't have to pay 14 different writers, we can just use this one AI program to do this stuff. Yeah, there's always going to be jobs out there that these machines are not good at. I don't buy the line that we're going to have these machines that are suddenly going to be just as intelligent or more intelligent than humans. Uh, that is way
No, I
way
don't think
off.
they'll be more intelligent than humans. You're still going to need humans, but I do feel like a lot of people in a lot of fields are really in danger. There's a lot of stuff when it comes to graphic designs and things that
Yeah,
AI can do today.
yeah,
There were a lot of businesses and fields, and just people one day woke up and there's an AI doing it. And whether
yeah,
it'll be automating even these kind of, even if you want to call it manual labor or whatever it is, those are still jobs that that you needed people traditionally to do, and now those people won't have those jobs. And I don't know, I worry
yeah,
about how that'll impact society and people that will find
yeah.
themselves out of jobs. What'll they do?
Yeah, those are very important questions, and the truth is that nobody's really got the answer just yet. There are going to be, there are still going to be jobs out there for people. There's people in the chat mentioning, oh, this is how we get Terminator. We're not getting the Terminator from this type of technology. It's not happening. What we have with LLMs and these generative models, they're not going to be creating Skynet. They're not going to be self-aware. It feels that way because it feels like these technologies have been developing so rapidly. We are going to continue to see some of these technologies improve on how well they can generate images, how well they can generate text, how well they can be used to uh, you know talk to each other, talk to human beings using human natural language. But there's a lot of hurdles that are left for us to get over to be able to continue to advance at the same pace that it has been going so far. The biggest one is simply energy. Uh, we don't have enough electricity to be able to keep improving the way that we have up to this point. There's a lot of these companies that are going literally down the road. They're having to build their own nuclear reactors, price, so that they have enough electricity for these different data centers that have all of these processors in it
I
that
see.
run all these AIs and stuff. It's going to cost an enormous amount of money to do that. And I think we are going to start to hit a plateau very soon where no matter how much extra energy they're putting in, no matter how many more processors they're putting together, they're just not going to be getting models that are going to be that much better than what we've gotten before. But we do have some, I mean, very, very real, issues, yes, where we're going to have to kind of figure out like what is actually going to happen to a lot of people whose jobs are going to be potentially made redundant by the use of technology. We're already seeing some issues with AI causing that, as there's a lot of new entry level jobs over the last few years that are starting to drift away. They're starting to disappear. We're not getting as many, as many of these entry level jobs because a lot of these companies are saying, well, we can hire one new person, then instead of hiring four new people, and that's going to be good enough, right? And so,
I'm
yeah,
sad.
that's definitely having an impact on the market already. Yeah.
Even you talk about creative stuff, when it comes to music, that AI for music has gotten so much better than it ever was. It's things like today, I ran into a YouTube channel that takes like songs that and turns them into like funky soul, whatever, through AI. There were some things that I heard there that genuinely sounded pretty cool. I mean, I think that the one thing you could still tell that the singer, even though it's good singing, you could tell it's like a robotic, a little bit of an AI thing. But the music, there was some really cool stuff that I heard, and I'm like, man, this is like I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that such a thing was possible as a kid if you would have told me. The fact that you just press a button and quickly it just gives you a whole song with all the instruments playing like really well, really, really well. I don't know what to tell you. It changes everything.
It really will. Yeah. And there's a couple people, in the chat, saying things like, yeah, we may need a Butlerian jihad. Yeah, it could be. We'll wait and see. That specifically wasn't just about losing jobs, though. That was about having actual, general AI, super intelligence, even that would potentially be at odds with humanity. To actually not just taking our jobs, but actually trying to destroy us, much like a
You
Terminator
never know. You
type
never know.
situation.
Listen, it's going to be at the end. The Terminator is going to be like the biggest prophecy. I think that anything is possible. I don't know. Like I know you say it's not possible, but I've never felt closer to like the
Well, I'm not
Terminator.
saying it's not possible. I'm saying that the technology that we have today, what we have available
We're
to
not
us
there yet.
now, and with the stuff like LLMs, ChatGPT is not waking up tomorrow and suddenly launching, nuclear missiles at us. That's not going to happen. But no, we are continuing to see development here, and there are some very irresponsible people who are who are helping push forward things like superintelligence, thinking that that's going to be beneficial to humanity. Now, I don't know about that. I really don't. We've seen a lot of people, ethicists, and people in just writing science fiction, speculative fiction, thinking about the ideas of what would it mean to have an artificial general intelligence? What would it mean to have an artificial super intelligence? And in many cases, it's when you really start to break down, like, what would be the motivations of some kind of super intelligence like that, they're not exactly beneficial to humanity, right? These machines are because they're trained to think like us, they're trained to act like we do, they're jealous. They're interested in protecting themselves, and they recognize that humanity is an obstacle to them growing and becoming more powerful. And so, yeah, they turn on humanity. That's not a uh, that's not a logical leap, right? That's something that, yeah, that very realistically, when you think about it, makes sense. I think that is something we do have to think about. We do have to consider. Just saying that, the technology that we have today, it's not there yet. We've got a ways to go
I
before
understand that.
before we're gonna get there.
By the way, before I forget, I haven't seen Elizabeth Quinn's here in a minute, and I just will hope that everything's okay. If
Oh,
she,
Elizabeth Quince reached out to me a while back. I thought I told you that, Price.
I thought maybe what did she say?
Yeah,
Remind me.
she reached out to me. She wanted to let us know that she was going to be headed out on a trip. She does. I'm not gonna dox her
No,
or
no, no,
anything,
no.
but
Don't. It's fine.
she was going to be going on a trip, some work stuff. She was going to be gone for a while, and she reached out to me, said, "Hey, I didn't want to be one of those people that just disappears." So she said, "I just wanted to let you know, hey, I'm leaving on this trip. Whatever. Best wishes, and I'll see you, when I get back."
Awesome,
So
awesome.
yeah,
I just
she's
suddenly
off doing her life thing, doing her work thing,
I
and
got
she'll be
no
back
problem with it.
eventually.
I
Yeah,
got no problem. And if she's listening to it, I'm saying hi to her. It's just
yeah,
she's usually here, and suddenly I notice, and I'm like, wait, did actually? I think now that you mention it, I think that you told me this, but
yeah,
somehow maybe I didn't remember, or I didn't realize if it was for like a lengthier point of time. But yes, I actually notice people that are here regular in the chat, even if I don't, mention it every second. And I see people here, and I'm always happy to see you guys here. And when somebody's not around, somebody that hangs out with us, usually I kind of notice that as well. You wouldn't think I would, but I do.
yeah. And you were mentioning as I guess we can kind of wrap up after this. We were talking about AI and so on. Did you see this today? This was a huge thing that things that they were talking about today. These are new uh, from a company called 1X. 1X Technologies launches the Neo, the world's first consumer humanoid for homes.
This is totally going to be Skynet.
My name is Bernd, and today we're launching Neo, our humanoid for the home.
Neo, the robot, Nene.
Let you live with it.
Yeah.
You're just not telling me? Well, what does it do?
Like my chores, I just leave and I come back and they're all done.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Is this like a parody or was this really happening?
This is real.
Oh. I know this is probably helpful to somebody, but man, it makes me depressed. And totally feels like Skynet.
Oh, look, it can dance. Ha 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 ha.
I don't love this, Professor. Do you want one of those, Professor?
I do not, no.
This all started.
It is interesting.
Working really hard on making what is Neo a reality. But to me personally, this started when I was like 10 years old. I grew up reading these beautiful books and watching these beautiful sci-fi movies
like
where
70 million.
The future was all about how we as humans, we really focus on the things that matter to us. You know, Rosie the robot would be ensuring family had time, or Data would help humanity explore the galaxy. And I really hope that when you get your Neo now, we can help give you back some of that time, so you can really spend it on what you feel is very meaningful to you.
It's designed to transform your life at home. It combines AI and advanced
It's got a switch on the back. You just, it says good and evil. You just got to make sure nobody switches that the wrong direction.
For you and your home.
Well,
But safe
sure
doesn't
enough,
mean
it's
limited.
not enough that
Neo's
it's
hardware
tough
comes packed
to
with
get a
features
job
like
and
human
keep it,
level
and now
dexterity
robots and
55 carrying
AI
capacity so
are
they can
taking
handle any
over
chores
everything.
reliably.
What is left for us?
We also worked really
I
hard to make
think
Neo's
the same
design friendly
thing,
and
Marla.
comfortable to be around. Each Neo comes with a machine washable knit suit, a head, and shoes that you can customize to fit your style. As for using your Neo, we made the experience simple. Out of the box, the core of your experience is fully autonomous. The chores feature lets you schedule a time for your Neo to do all of your chores, so you can come back to a cleaner home every day. With the AI companion feature, you can talk to your Neo to get assistance with anything from a hard question to a household task. With Neo's autonomy, you can get access to all of its latest AI features to get help with tasks on demand. And the Neo app lets you interact with your Neo from anywhere. But all you have to do to get started is turn on your Neo and introduce yourself.
This looks like a bad
Hey, I'm
horror
Neo.
movie.
I'm here to help around the house. What's your name?
Harry.
Nice to meet you, Harry. When you have a question or want something done, just let me know.
This is a horror movie. You just you need spooky music. If you like have spooky music and you haven't start saying like weird things to
We
the
built the chores
people.
feature to give you your time back. You give your Neo a list of chores, you schedule a time that you want them done, so that you can focus
At the
on what matters to
beginning,
you,
the
like your
robot
Neo
is
forever.
great
You can
and he
schedule
does
chores where you
everything
talk to your
great,
Neo
but then
or
he
using
starts
the app.
like saying
The
all
way it
this like
works-
weird crap.
To decide if it should respond or not. As you might expect from a home robot, talking to Neo with natural language is the primary user interface for all of Neo's functionality, including autonomy. Your Neo
I
comes
don't
with
trust
Redwood
this
AI,
robot.
enabling it to do basic household tasks.
But it's knitted just like you, Bryce. It's got knitted covered.
How do you know that it's not going to
Neo
get
becomes
upset
fully
and suddenly
autonomous,
smack
capable of
somebody in
helping
the
you with
face?
anything around the house.
It is. It's the start of a horror movie. Like at the beginning,
The Neo you
everybody,
get
it's like
today
kind of like a
will only
Megan
get
thing.
better.
Everybody's
And as we
excited
keep
about him
shipping
at the
features,
beginning.
it'll be
Then
more
it
and more
turns
useful
out that
in
he's
your everyday life.
bad.
Yeah.
Now, the journey there is not going to be perfect, and we're not going to pretend it's going to be. But as someone who lives with Neo every day, there is no experience quite as magical. So today, we're excited to invite you in on this journey. We believe that the future will be shaped not just by us, but by all of you who believe in this as deeply
Who's
as we
this
do.
weirdo?
Now, if this is you, pre-order your Neo today at 1x.tech.
$20,000? What are you nuts?
Yeah. Hey man, if you don't buy a black one, you racist. That's all I gotta say, man.
I think if you buy the black one, you're racist.
Oh, okay. I think you might be right. I think you're probably if your servant robot has to be black, then yeah, you know you know
By the
you're
way, by the way, I don't know why I thought about this. This is a random thing, and then we'll just read the things and go. Sometimes on my, I have a few YouTube channels, and there's one once in a while I look and I refresh and like I lost a subscriber, or like I release a new video and I lose a subscriber, and sometimes I think to myself, it's probably somebody that's been like following me for years, And then like I release a video about Doctor Who. I'm thinking to myself, this is it. This is what like pushed him over the edge. He saw me saying that like Doctor Who is crappy, and he jumped ship. Sometimes I don't understand what the tipping point is, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like what's the you followed me for years. What video suddenly was like the last straw that I said like Doctor Who is crap? Like that's the thing that got you to jump ship? Because I looked today and I posted the video and it was like -1. Somebody saw that I said that like Doctor Who was a disaster and ran away. Where have you been for all these years? That's pretty much every few months you can pretty much guarantee a video like that. So yeah, just a strange thing. People are weird.
People can be very, very weird. Bryce.
Speaking of people, though, it could also be, people are saying in the chat, it could also be sometimes YouTube does a little bit of a sweep and they just remove people. So maybe.
Yeah, that happens too.
So I don't know. Maybe they didn't look at the Doctor Who thing and run away. Who knows? But it would surprise me that somebody that like has followed me for a while, suddenly like it's shocking them that I don't like Doctor Who. It's weird things in my mind, though. Speaking of people, though, I think it's a good time to say goodbye to people.
Yeah, give me a second. Trying to get some names over to you.
And thank you for everybody. It was
got a lot of people.
Such a fun audience we had here today.
Got a lot of people joining us tonight. There's the first half.
So this is Rumble.
Rumble, yep.
Birdhouse Blues, Gaius Lucius, Phantom Monk, Istophobos, Rich and Rare, Whiskey, Pure Blood Based Berserker, Sam McDaniel, M.O., Anti-Vax Yogi. Wait a second. I think I lost. Okay. Coriodalis, Empress and M, Joey Blowy. That sounds interesting. General M1LZ.
Mills. General Mills.
General Mills, okay. Diamond Clarity, Freda's, J. William Hunt, Joe Harris 1123, AI Archangel L, Timothy Tincliffe, Double R Star, Tim M. Hayes, Crimson King, Noel 2024, Isaac XYZ, Alec Baldwin's Finger, but spelled differently, which is strange. Tim Adirondack. Tim Adirondack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Adirondack.
Water Logic Man. Legano 2135. Well Done Son. Tiberius. B-Hops 1 and Gut Thinker. There was also somebody else that I think did we see Dude Bro Seth? I didn't see him here.
You didn't was that not in the list? I thought I got him in there. But if not, great to see you, Dude Bro Seth 420. Yeah. Great
Cheers. Yeah, I thought that I saw Dude Bro Seth. Yeah, he's here. Yeah. Hopefully I got everybody. Also, as we always say, if we miss somebody, sorry about that, but we always do our best.
Yeah.
You can do the YouTube.
Over here on YouTube, we saw tonight, we had Tomahawk 511, Istophobos, Yitis, Kelly Hans, Caleb Levine, Jonathan Conroy, The Dead Man, Justin Channels, Putin's Cat, E. Clay Thomason, Keely Chow, Raccoonius the Great, Jim Noxious, Darren M, Mark D with a C, and my list just jumped. Crap. Okay. Mark D with a C, Hoot Owl, Whalem 03, Bill S. Preston Esquire, Samsung, Marla Sharondoff, Tim Hayes, Awesome One, Script Trooper, good to see you, Script Trooper, Arturo Alejandro Trevino, Davion Donaldson, Ghost Fixter, Granola Grin, Lasher, and Watcher X. I think I got just about everybody there as well. So yeah, great to see all of you joining us out there on Rumble and over on YouTube.
Yeah, and it was a really fun stream, and I want to thank everybody. I love that we hang out every Tuesday and Thursday here at 11:45 p.m. Eastern on the Night Owl, and that we have so many people that join us regularly. 2 platforms, a lot of good stuff happening on both of them. I want to also thank Rumble. Rumble is our headquarters for this stream. And if you're not already signed up for Rumble, you should definitely do that now. You should sign up if you're looking through the app. If you haven't signed up yet, you should sign up. and then follow us so that you're always notified when we do a stream. If you're on any other platform and you haven't yet subscribed or followed or whatever it is, should totally do that now also, so that we're always, can always update you with our latest developments. And I guess now that we've done all of that and we've thanked everybody, maybe now is a good time to kind of sign off.
Yeah, we'll be back here on Thursday evening, 10:45 Central, 11:45 Eastern for the Night Owl. We'll see you Thursday evening. We'll be ringing in Halloween together here uh, as we talk about whatever it is in the news, politics, whatever it is that happens to be going on. And then Friday night, Price and I both will be joining the crew over on B-Sides,
That is true.
B-roll stage on both YouTube and Rumble. We'll be over there. I believe we're talking House on Haunted Hill, Price, the Vincent Price version. Maybe even something else. I don't know. Don't know what Adam's got planned for us just yet. But yeah, we'll be hanging out there Halloween night, talking about stuff, hanging out, playing some games, and just having some fun in general. So yeah, we'll see you back here Thursday for that, and then Friday for B-roll stage.
Absolutely, and we'll share the link. We shared it now. Also share it on Thursday and
Yep.
remind everybody. And yeah, we'll see you all here Thursday. I guess that's it, Professor.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.